Here we go. Hope. I hope. We'll do it live. King Arthur Legends Rise. First live stream. I'm excited. I gotta say, I'm excited. Still got I got raid going on in the background here because I've got to do stuff before the end of the server day. But yeah, this is my new obsession. This is what I've been putting all my time into. This game is a lot of fun for me. I'm really enjoying it. It's a hard game, actually. It's a pretty tough game, I would say. Like, I think you can play casually and it will not be as hard. And I think if you try to play hardcore, there's like a weird ramp up, and I think that's the incentive to spend money. So if you're okay being casual, I actually don't think it'll be as difficult, because what happens is you hit a wall, and the wall is time. Not terms of time in the game, but in terms of, like, you can't do things fast even if you want to. You have to kind of wait for the resources to come to you, and then you can kind of break through, and then you do a little bit more. So I'm going to talk about this in just a minute, but let's see. I'm going to have to figure out how to get my... I'm going to have to figure out how to get my chat up, because chat works, like, this screen works differently graphically with OBS than Raid does. And so I can't just morph the screen. Like, I can't pick... I can't customize the window size. I can change the window size, but I can't, like, just pick any window size that I want. Let me see here. Let me go in graphics. Like, I could do this, but then it'll shrink on the window, I think. Yeah. But I guess I could do that. And that would allow me to see the chat. All right. So let's do this. I'm playing both games. I'm playing both games all day, every day. It's ridiculous. All right, I think I got it. I sort of got it. And then it is good. You know, that reminds me, though. I need to put my download link in the live stream description. There we go. All right, so now I got to get my... I've got to get... This is my first live stream with this. I got to figure it out. I need... my... I think that's... All right, that should... All right, so now if you refresh the page, you should have it. Alex Civic, Hawk Gaming, good seeing you. Biggest tips for King Arthur and in Raid. I pulled the Orc Mythical the other day. Congrats on your Mythic. Yeah, you can rotate your phone, which is nice. Is the game good? The game is good. I'm enjoying it. Hey, Darren. Angelica, good to see you. Ricardo. But your background overrate. No. I'm sorry. Are you still look? Oh, you're still looking at both. Sorry. that's no. I can do this. I can do this. It's just let me. No problem. So the thing is, on my screen, this is not full screen anymore. You know, because I need to be able to see. I need to be able to see the chat. That's all. Although it is a little bit smaller. Maybe I make it a little bit bigger. Would this be too big? That didn't actually get any bigger. That was weird. Like that's the same size. Those two windows. No, let's see. Are they? That line. Let me see if this is actually any bigger. Okay, it is slightly. It's just hard to tell. So I normally play at the maximum resolution up here, but then it blocks out the chat. I want to see chat today. I always want to see chat, but I want to see it more today because we're going to be talking. Oh, Ricardo, welcome to the first live stream then. Welcome to Take Arthur Tuesdays. I like that, Gordon. I like that. Yeah, so apparently it's still in beta. It hasn't gone global launch, although, you know, beta doesn't mean what it used to mean, so it's not really in testing. It's like pretty close to final. It's just, you know, maybe they're stress testing, maybe there's still content that'll be released on global launch. But I believe it's available on Steam, on mobile, and on PC. You can just go to the download link and you'll have the options there. So let me just kind of run you through, if you haven't seen this before, let me just run you through what the basic thing is. All right. So there's a story. There's a main storyline. And this kind of works a little bit like Diablo in the sense that you start in a chapter and you kind of go through all of it in normal difficulty, right? So there are 10 chapters. The story's decently deep, I would say. You know, it's long enough to feel epic, but short enough to not feel like it goes on forever and you can't complete it. It's hard to complete normal mode. It is, but you know, you could probably do it in a week of active playing, maybe less. I'm sure some people will grind it out in like 2 or 3 days, but honestly, it is a challenge. And then you go up to hard mode, right? And then you repeat the whole story in hard mode. Now, one of the differences between King Arthur and like Diablo style stuff is that you don't actually have to see the story again. Like when you come back to fight these battles, you just fight the battles. You don't have to watch the cutscenes or run around the world. I kind of wish you could, because what it means is like once you've done the normal story, if I go back to any of these, I just fight the battle. But the story is kind of cool. I wish it were more like Diablo where you'd actually play through the story again in hard mode. But I understand why they didn't do that. Like they want to streamline it a little bit. But so this is more similar to Raid in that like you play through the campaign once and you see all the cutscenes, and then at the end, like you never ever see the cutscenes from Raid ever again. And that's what they've done here. And I wish they didn't, because I think it would be cool to have that crossover between like a mobile squad builder and an ARPG. It does have that feel to it. It has a feel like a little bit of a crossover, you know, like a genre bender, which I like. I actually like that quite a bit. So you go through the story and you collect heroes, and here are your heroes. This is your roster, but here's the index or codex. They call it codex here. And so you can see there are 66 champions total. You can't see it. It's right behind me. There. You can see right down here at the bottom of the screen the number 54. I have 54 out of the 66 heroes. And then I think this 93 out of 198, that's the number of relics. So you can see every hero has 3 affinity, or 3 let me bring myself back over here. 3 elements, right? So you have a flame element, a frost element, and a storm element. And your weapons are called relics, and you have one relic or one weapon of each element. But you only start with one when you get a character. So whatever hero you summon has a default relic. So you can see Morgan here. I only have one relic for her. The default is flame. So when she spawns, you get her flame relic. And then you can go on and collect all of the other relics. And the skills of that champion change depending on the relic. So the different elements have two effects, right? One is there's sort of a rock, paper, scissors thing where, you know, elements are strong into other elements and weak into other elements. So flame is strong into storm, storm is strong into frost, and frost is strong into flame. And that increases the damage or decreases the damage that you do. But in addition to that, it literally changes the skills of the heroes. And some of the skill sets are significantly different, and some of the skill sets are very similar with just little tweaks. But usually there's a change in damage. So if you look here, like right here, it says attacks one enemy 2 times, total damage 52% attack. But if you go here, you know, it's like, okay, so that's the same. These are all the same in terms of the attack percentage, but sometimes they're not. Like this is an AoE with 100% attack, and then this is an AoE with 84% attack. You know, so it's like there can be relics that are more damaging, and then they can also change the skills of your heroes. So it's pretty cool. This does have the theater. That's true. You can always go back to the theater, which is pretty cool. So if you wanted to go here and go through the chapters again, you can. You can see, you know, which I like. I do like that. So that's a good point, Civic. Angelica, it's your 9th day in today. I think it is my 10th. I think. Let me go see. There's a login something somewhere. Forget how to get to it though. I honestly don't know, because it like just pops up when you log in. Maybe it's the calendar. There it is. It's this. I'm day 12. Okay. Now the reason I think I'm day 10 is because I didn't play for the first 2 days. I downloaded the game because I got the sponsorship, and then it was just really busy because it was Thanksgiving, and so I didn't play day 1 or day 2, and I started playing on day 3. And that unfortunately put me a little bit behind because there are some timed things when you like start a new account that you want to do in a certain number of days. And so like that first week's missions, I only had 4 days or whatever, or 5 days to do them instead of 7. So that was a little bit frustrating, but otherwise. You can watch back your arena fight. That's cool. I didn't know that. Yeah, a lot of A1s have the same damage. Not all of them though. Yeah. So what I've been doing is, you know, I've been collecting all my heroes. I got a decent number of heroes. You know, I have most of them at this point. I have 54 out of 66. But you can't really invest in all of them right away. So as you can see, I've got my top 3 here, and then I sort of have my next batch here, these 4. And then I've got some other ones down here that are like kind of scaling up. And they're sorted here by power, but you could also sort them by so combat power, you could sort them by level if you wanted. Then you could kind of see who's the most progressed. So I did decide to go with King Arthur as my main champion, which I was pretty happy about. He's very good. He's sort of a generalist, though. He's not really great at any one thing, which means there are times where he kind of lacks. He lacks a little bit, but he hits very hard. He's a bit tankier inherently than some of the other damage dealers I've tried, like at various levels. So for instance, a lot of people run K as their like first 60, and she's very good and she hits really hard, but she's a bit squishier than Arthur is at the same combat power. So if you just look up here, like if you're building her the way she's supposed to be built, and you're building Arthur the way he's supposed to be built, and there are multiple ways you could build them, but you know, in a reasonable fashion, K is a bit squishier, but she hits very hard. Hits very hard. See, I actually have all 3 of her relics, and I have all 3 of Arthur's relics, and those are the only 2 champions I have all 3 relics on. So I'm starting to level her because I want that flexibility, especially with your damage dealers. Like, it's really important to have damage dealers of the correct affinity. Although one of K's affinities is not as good as the other 2. I'm trying to remember which one it is. So this is her natural affinity is Storm. I think that's what she starts with. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what she starts with. And so the damage here is very good. You get a 5 hitter on the A1, 4 hitter on the A2 that grants crit rate increase, critical strike rate increase, and damage. So, and then she's got an AoE on all enemies, which is really nice. So this is a really versatile kind of damage dealing setup because you've got the self buffing and then you've got the big AoE. But you've also got a lot of multi hits, which is really nice. 5 hits, 4 hits, 4 hits. And you need those in some places. And then here, is it this one? So this is a different kind of setup. So you do have an AoE here, but it has recovery disruption, which is kind of like healing reduction. So it stops healing from happening. So that's a really usable skill. And so is it this one that I don't like as much? Yeah, so this also has recovery disruption, but this is just on a single target, whereas this recovery disruption is on everybody, but it's a lower chance. So I guess you can kind of, you can pick which one you're going for, but this is the one that's going to do the most damage, I'm pretty sure. Because the other don't have the critical strike buffs. Yeah. So if you want the most damage, it's clearly going to be this one. I'm not sure that it is, Angelica. A lot of people say that. But I've found that Arthur crushes. He does awesome. I'm not saying that Arthur is better than Kay. I'm just saying I haven't regretted it, Just going to be King Arthur tonight, Ian. Yeah. Yeah, I call it Spirit too, but it's Storm, right? Because it's the colors. The colors are so locked in. I actually want to go see if I can do some arena, maybe. Probably can't beat this team here. I could do some other stuff, I guess. I might want to power up a little bit. I don't have a lot. Gold is definitely the struggle for me. I don't know whoever else has been playing. And one of the things is there is a dungeon specifically for gold, which is this one. And this is the one I'm struggling to push past 5 on. I feel like I have the champions to do this, but for whatever reason, I don't have the right setup to get Burning Lands 6 down, which is weird because like Plane of Beasts, I've gotten 8 down, right? And then on the equipment dungeons, I think I've gotten 6 down here. Yeah. So, but there's this huge jump up in the Burning Land from 5 to 6, where you go from level 47 to level 62. It's a 15 level jump from the boss. And so I'm getting really close to knocking this down. I'm literally within like 1 or 2 hits of knocking this down. And then I die like right before the end. So I need to get a little bit more survivability, a little more power on my champions, and I should be good. Have fun. I've got no time in life for another massive game. I will say this. Like, in terms of my time investment, maybe you can let me know. I think that on a daily basis, even though I'm playing this as the new game and Raid as like the game that I've got it down, like I've got it down pat, I still think I put more time every day into Raid. I think I'm still putting, 3 to 4 hours into Raid a day. And unless I really, really want to put extra time in here, like just doing all the daily stuff doesn't take that long. So there are daily missions. And there are these like sort of missions like this stuff. But where are the dailies? Are they also here? No. Is it here? Yeah. So here, today's missions, right? These missions are the daily missions. And you can do these very, very quickly. You can do these in like, I would say the biggest one is defeating the monsters. 50 monsters. Might take a half an hour. It would take somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes, I think, to do the missions if I was just trying to do that. Now, there are other things that you want to do in the day. Like you want to come into your clan. You want to do your clan missions. So you have clan missions to do every day. You want to do those. But those are really fast for the most part. Yeah. Speaking of which, we still have 5 spots if anybody wants to join us. There's a thing here, by the way, for clans. The daily login, like you get a reward based on how many people log in every day. And you can see 25, you actually get a special summon ticket every day. A special summon ticket every day. If everybody logs in, but it has to be all 25 people. So if one person doesn't log in, 24 other people get stuck with a normal summon ticket instead of a special summon ticket. So I wish they would give a little bit of leeway here. I wish this was 24, 22 or something, or that they would let you have 30 people in a clan, because this is such a valuable resource. But it's relatively impossible to get, especially if you don't have a completely full and active clan, which I find frustrating. I haven't done my clan raid. I think I forgot to do it yesterday too. But we could try this out. Let's see. So this is nighttime. And this is the daytime one. That's the daytime. Okay, so let's do the nighttime one. I don't know this battle that well. Okay. I can't remove buffs, really. But let's go ahead and take her in. We'll put him in. What else do we need to do? Remove buffs. I don't have any of these. I don't have anybody here. Like you can see, I just have that one. So I put her in. But I guess we'll run the other. So this is a good support for nighttime. We'll run a double support and see how it goes. There's sort of a maximum number of turns you get or something. There's a maximum amount of time. I can put my skill order in. And probably want this. I need somebody with a bigger set in here, but I don't have one. JB, you said you currently run Anguish, Merlin, Sarah, and Jarrett, and at the moment clearing stage 6 Burning Gorilla with no sweat. Yeah. So I don't have Anguish yet. I get him in 2 days, I think, or maybe even tomorrow. I don't have Sarah. Sarah, I definitely want. I also don't have Merlin. Merlin, I definitely want. I tried to go for him. I got 2 rate up completed summons, right? Like, so you do the rate up summons or this whatever, you have to pull 60 pulls, and then you get a guaranteed 50-50 shot at, you'll get a guaranteed legendary, but you get a 50-50 shot at the rate up champion, which was Merlin. So I completed that one time. I did 60 pulls. I didn't get Merlin. Then I did another 60 pulls, and I got there again, and I didn't get Merlin. And so now I'm like, all right, I think I'm done with that one, because even though I want Merlin, I kind of want the other legendaries who are in the other rate up like thing. So I'm now pulling the Guinevere rate tickets. So use Morgan A3. Why do I want to use her A3? I want to decrease the turn meter. Like, this decreases the attack gauge, right? Now this skill, recovery disruption, damage taken increase. How'd I get so many pulls? I buy them with gems. So I use all my free gems to just pull champions, summon champion. Isolde is a little bit disappointing to me. The one thing she's decent at seems to be dot removal, which she's necessary for. At least on my account, she's necessary for. Although Jarrett also does that, so potentially you could just invest in him, and that might be better than investing in her. But she also gives you a little bit more healing, right? Like, she gives you healing. Jarrett doesn't give you any, I don't think. So, yeah, so I just put Sigrund in a Vigor set. I was going to put King Arthur in a Vigor set, and then I decided to put Sigrund in, and I was thinking about Morgan, because I think she would be excellent in a Vigor set as well. But you really want her fast, and I would lose like 50 speed. I'll show you how my my Morgan's built. She's built okay. None of my champions are actually great. Arthur is my best build by far. So if we look at the equipment here, you can see this is all 3 and 4-star gear, mostly 4-star gear, just the 2 3-star pieces. Leveled up to 9, not all the way. You know, gold is always an issue. And so he's in a drain set, which is actually not bad. I did that, you know, deliberately. I think I got this ring. I got this ring, and I had the recovery, and I had, you know, speed, and I rolled into the speed, and I was like, well, maybe I'll go drain now and see what happens. And so he's relatively tanky. He still has a decent amount of crit rate. You really need crit rate on him. So you can see 41%. I want to push this higher. I would love to have this over 50%, which would be great. But the reason that you want him to have crit rate is because if you look at his chivalry, let's see where it is. Hit 1 additional time upon critical strike. So this is on like literally every skill. If you crit, you get an extra hit. So his A1s, which are 2 hits, become 3 hits. Right? His big, like, massive single hit A3 becomes a double hitter. And I don't know exactly if the damage is repeated. It feels like the extra hit hits harder. And I'm not 100% sure if that's true in all cases. Or if it's sort of that I'm not tracking these passives that well. So, you know, but sometimes it feels like even with his big hit, like even with his A3, he'll do a huge hit, and then he'll get the extra hit because he crits, and the extra one will be like 50% larger, and it's just massive. So that's what it feels like anyway. People keep saying that. Build K instead. I'm building Arthur. I am building Arthur. I'm enjoying Arthur. He's very good. I am also building K now. But I was able to get through the main story, like, all, normal with Arthur, no problem. It doesn't seem to be holding me back in, I mean, I can't say that for sure, but it doesn't seem to be holding me back in Plane of Beasts too much, right? I'm already up to stage 8. The big thing here, though, is I've heavily invested in Tristan, and I think a lot of people don't do that. And so let me show you Tristan. So Tristan is, at this point, he's my second most powerful hero. He's actually more powerful than Morgan in terms of, like, attack power or whatever. I've invested heavily in Morgan. I've invested heavily in Tristan. Tristan is crazy strong. I watched some videos and people were talking about, like, Tristan's okay. Tristan's good in some things. He's so good. He hits so hard. I'll show you how I have him built. He's not even geared that well. He does have a nice ring here, 42 attack speed. And he's got, again, decent crit rate. So he's actually up at 54%. That's where I want Arthur, like somewhere around there. But, Arthur has a lot of the crit rate increase buffs on himself. So I don't think he needs it quite as much. But man, Tristan absolutely just smacks. He hits so hard. And I have him in attack and crit. And his kit, so his base kit on his Storm Spike is really solid because he gives you attack speed decrease 2 for 2 turns, 80% chance on his A1, which is really important. You really want this for a lot of fights. Attack speed decrease is so valuable. I think it's your number one tool for getting extra turns on the enemy, and specifically for getting around to things that, like, decrease turn meter or give you heals or put up increased defense and that kind of thing. So this is an incredibly valuable A1. His A2 is fine. His A2 is nice, especially if the target has protection. But this gives you an attack speed increase for 1 turn on you, which can make you change your turn order a little bit if you're trying to get ahead of somebody else in the turn order. But generally, I don't use his A2. I don't bother with his A2 very much. And then his A3 is a triple hit. And this gives attack speed decrease 1 for 2 turns. And these stack. So attack speed decrease 1 stacks with attack speed decrease 2. You can get 1 of each. It's not like in Raid where the stronger buff or the stronger debuff replaces the other one. These can actually stack. Now, you can't get multiple copies of the same one, but since these are technically 2 different debuffs, you can get them both out there. So he can slow the enemy while not sacrificing damage, because he's doing it based on damage skills, right? Like, there are other champions who get speed decrease out, but it's often on a skill that doesn't hit very hard. So he hits incredibly hard, and eventually, hopefully, I'm going to get his Fire Relic here. Now, the Fire Relic you can actually buy in the clan shop, I believe, so I'm going to have to save up for that. But the nice thing about this one is this thing. The triple hitter attacks 8 times. So when you need multi-hits, this, I think, is going to be the best multi-hitter in the game. Plus, it gives you a 100% chance to increase your attack gauge by 30%. Which, by the way, I think... Which one does... One of these does that as well. I think it's the A3 does this. Why does this do this? One of these skills gives me increased attack gauge. Let me see his chivalry. His chivalry isn't even activated yet. Maybe it's one of these things. Let's see. Here it is. When attacking. Okay, so it's just the passive. It's just the passive. Yeah, Bedivere is apparently the hardest hitting champ in the game. I don't have Bedivere. but a lot of people say that Bedivere is the hardest hitting champion in the game. I don't know what... Does anybody know what his default element is? Deals additional damage if the last hit is a critical strike. That looks... so you get the increased crit rate 2 on both of these skills, and then you get 140% attack, which is not a ton on a single damage hit. But then you get another 168, so that's 308%. That is a lot. 308% is a lot. And then this skill looks sick. So this is, 2 hits, a lot of damage that ignores defense. That's a single damage crunch. Yeah. Hey, Yobi. Good to see you. Ice is his default. Thank you. His first passive. Let's see his passive. Attacks one time, hitting 2 random enemies, damage 100%. Ignores 20% defense. Nice. Ooh, that's nice too. So if you crit, it decreases your passive cooldowns by 1 turn. And then you gain a Pierce increase. I don't actually know what Pierce increase does. Nice. Charges plus 2 vigor. That's nice too. Getting extra vigor is important. Yeah, we have a couple of spots. We have 5 spots left, I think. So if you are interested in joining our clan, you should come to our Discord. And there's a channel for King Arthur there. We'll probably expand the King Arthur section in the near future, because I think I'm going to be doing content on this game. I'm enjoying this game, but it's still the first 12 days for me, so I don't want to over commit to this and say, oh yeah, I'm definitely doing this, and then be like, no, I'm not doing it. Ooh, this is interesting. Is that worth 450 gems? That's the question. So if you go to the shop, let's see. If you come here to this shop, you get 2 daily stamina charges of 100 energy each for 50 crystals each. So for 100 crystals, you can get 200 stamina. Not energy, stamina. And then if you... The next 2 are 100 crystals each. So for 300 crystals, you can get 400 energy. And this is 400 energy. So then you're spending 150 crystals on 50,000 gold. So this is not a good deal. This is not a good deal. You would rather spend 300 in the shop to get 400 energy. And don't worry about the 50,000 silver. Like, that's not worth it. You have to do all these calculations. I've been looking at this one for a few days, and like, this is only 200 energy. And then it's 2 keepsakes. Now, keepsake could be really good. Like, if you get a 5-star keepsake with the right set, but this is such a gamble. I feel like this is a bad deal too. So I've been looking at that for days and not taking it. I've only bought like 2 or 3 of the pop-up offers. Pierce is basically ignore defense. Yeah, that makes sense. It's 3 times. Wait, what? If you try to get the energy here, the daily stamina charge, you can see this is charge 3. The first 2 charges were 50 crystals each. Are you saying there are 3 of these at 100? It's not 3 times 50. The first 2 are 50. The third one is 100. Yeah, I've thought about Rosier too. She's got really nice dots. It's okay, so 3 of these. So actually for 400 crystals you can get 500 stamina. Yeah, so and then if you look at the gold here, I mean, right, if you were we had 150 gold or 150 crystals left over, that should be, it's more than 100,000 instead of 50,000 gold. So this pop-up offer is bad. This is bad. This is 400 stamina and 50,000 silver for 450 crystals. But if I go here, 400 stamina would cost me 300 crystals, and I'd be left with 150, which should get me 150,000 gold, not 50,000 gold. So they're basically this option is 100,000 gold less than you should be getting from the regular shop. And that would be just like not even great deals. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't buy this gold package. If you're going to buy gold, you would much rather buy this one. It's much more efficient, but even that you just don't want to buy it. I don't think you want to buy gold unless you're in a desperate situation. I'm definitely leaning heavily into upgrading my base. That's something I'm doing a lot of. Let me go back over here to raid and make sure I'm doing the thing. Okay. So I'm leaning heavily into the base. So the castle, when you upgrade it, you get a cost reduction in terms of the iron and, lumber used. So I'm trying to prioritize this. It's not a huge amount of savings, but it's definitely that. And then the second thing I'm trying to prioritize is the steel mill and the lumber yard, because that actually generates your resources. And so I'm prioritizing these second, and then everything else comes after that. So if there's a requirement to upgrade something else, then I do it, but otherwise I don't. Now, one thing you may not know is if you come in here to the clan shop, all the way down at the right end side, you can get lumber chests. This is 1,000 lumber, and this is 1,000 iron, and it's for 5 clan silver or clan token. That's it. So you could get, I could get 100,000 iron here really quickly, if I need to. So I've been doing that. I've been buying a lot here. The other place you can get iron and lumber from is if you come to the restricted area and you go to the forbidden dungeon. You want to do this. Now you get 5 tickets a day, and you want to use all 5 tickets a day. So you can just, I can just go to the last one and auto clear it if I want. And it says iron here, 5,800 iron, but it's going to be iron or lumber. It'll be one or the other, and so if you do it 5 times, you'll get, 29,000 combined. I can't actually quite clear this floor. This has been frustrating me. I would like to clear 25, but I'm kind of stuck on 24 right now. And, yeah. Not having Sarah is a problem. I need to get myself a Sarah. That's definitely a thing. That's definitely a thing. You know what we're going to do right now is we're going to do little summons. So these are the rate up summons I was talking about, and I did 2 of these, and the first time I got Sigrun, who's actually, I like her, Sigrun. I actually like her. And then the second one I got Ina, and I don't know about her yet, although apparently she's got some cool stuff going on. But I don't have the resources to invest in a lot of legendaries. I started to invest pretty heavily into Sigrun, and I don't know how I feel about it yet. So we'll have to see. But obviously Tristan and Morgan are my 2 main Legos, and then Arthur and Turin are my 2 main rares. And then I'm trying to get Kay, Clementine, Isolde. You can see I've got Gareth at 50. That was just something that I was doing when the favor dungeons were all open for the first like 4 days after I unlocked them. And so I was just pushing people in every single, school, whatever they're called, every single favor category. So I pushed her basically because she was a hound and I didn't have a lot of great hound options. And you can see, so that's what some of these champions down here are doing, like leveled up. Like they were just literally to get me into the favor dungeons while it was still open. Now, my thought is I want to invest in Jarrett here for the dot cleanse. That'll be helpful because I actually think he's better at dot cleansing than Isolde is, although she's okay. And that'll allow me to maybe not invest in her past 50 for now. And so my next rare is likely to be K, or honestly, it might be Anguish when I pull Anguish, and then I might go with Rosier here. So she's got dots, and that's going to be important. She's super freaky looking. It's covered in blood. God. It won't keep your mercy counter. Yeah, I know. Yeah, so you can see, like, I need 40 more summons here, and it's going to reset 3 hours. So this is at the server reset today, and then maybe we'll get new rate up. I will not get enough gems here, but there's something else going on which I got to consider, which is the crystal consumption event, which also ends in 3 hours. So I would love to get here, and I need to spend 2,300 crystals, and I have 2,120. If I spend all of them, right, I'll get an additional 10 pull. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's not a 10 pull. It's Legendary Master Memory Stone, which actually would be helpful because so I'd get 14 of those. How close am I on her? So I need 12. I need 12 stones to get this first level. It's either that or this one. And honestly, I might want that one. But, getting the chivalry, especially the first couple of chivalries, sometimes it's like the first and the third or the first and the fifth or something. But it's usually almost always the first one is a big deal. So this is important here on the second one for her. The third one, I mean, all of her, like her first 4 are so valuable. And then after that, it's like the attack speed's nice. You want the 20 attack speed. That's a ton of attack speed. But these are less important, although this is... That's nice. That's really nice. More attack speed there. So it's like getting her to 9. I'm not even worried about 10, but just getting her all the way to 9, you'd get 35 additional attack speed plus 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in skill increases. So, that's incredibly valuable. I would like this. That would be useful. That's nice. Jeez. So getting these kinds of resources is difficult to do as a free-to-play player. So if I can get, these 10 master memory stones, like I would pull 2,300 crystals, but I need 180 extra crystals, and I don't know where to get those today. The best place usually is going to be in the Colosseum. So if I could get here, maybe that's what I'll try to do. We'll try to push that a bit. I would like to upgrade my champions a little bit because I'm kind of running out of gas here. In silver 4. Did I buy the Knights Pass? I haven't bought anything. Yeah, you can buy special summons with gem. So here's the thing. I could come and do this one, which I'm probably going to do because I've got a guaranteed summon after 8. So I'll do a 10 pull here, definitely. In fact, I may as well just do that right now. I don't know why I would wait on that. So we'll get a rare and a legendary here. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Look at the gold gem. It's a guarantee, so you don't even have to worry about it. You don't discover it. It's just guaranteed. Look at that. I love it. And we got 2 rares. That's nice. Who am I hoping for? I'm hoping for Merlin. Merlin would be great. If I can't get Merlin, then Bedivere would be awesome. If I can't get Bedivere, then I'm hoping for Jillian. And if I can't get those 3, then I'm hoping for a copy of one of the ones I already own that I want to use. Probably, I would think. Jack. Oh, Clementine. Is that Bedivere? Oh, it's Lancelot. Actually, Lancelot's huge. Lancelot's very good. So that's exciting. Got a new legendary. That might actually change things for me a little bit. I'm going to have to figure that out. Okay. So let's go get some of our things here. We can go ahead and get this. All right. So I definitely have to. Oh, and I'm going to have 30 gems there for Lancelot. Let's look at Lancelot for a second because I was just watching a video with him last night where he was doing really nice things. So triple hit on the A1 with a chance for chill. Chill is nice. It's like a dot plus it lowers attack speed, which I like. Attacks one enemy 3 times. Again, chill. And then a chance for freeze. Now freeze is like a stun. And that's pretty good damage there. Because it's also got max HP hit. I don't know. I would still say probably 1 anguish still, but I don't know. I'll have to see. Oh wait, was I on the wrong element? Okay. It's burn. It's burn. Yeah, I was on the frost for some reason. All right, so he's got a burn there. He's got a stun on his A2. And he's got a 90% chance to inflict burn. Okay, so that's actually pretty huge. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't think I clicked on it. I think it was just there. But he likes the rain, which is interesting. Because Tristan also likes the rain. Where's Tristan? Tristan also likes rain. Now, we have Anguish, right? Who's going to be free very shortly. And Anguish is the rare burn. Is he also fire by default, by the way? Because I don't know. It feels like they switch him on me. I think he is. He's either... I think he's fire by default. But he's got a chance for burn on his A1. He's got a buff steal, which is cool, because that's actually a useful skill. And then he's got a 60% chance to inflict burn for 1 turn there. He's ice by default? Okay. Chill. Dot. And chill. get up to 3 chills, which is not bad. Chill is like, yeah. So yeah, the champion is Morgan in here. I think it's a preference of translation because I've seen her as Morgana as well. Sometimes in movies she's Morgana, sometimes she's Morgan. Um, sometimes she's Morgan, I think. Like there's different ways to do this name. But here she's called Morgan. Yep, free to play player. As compared to RSL, how pay to win is King Arthur? It is less pay to win. Well, let me say this. What it feels like is that free to play can be very successful here. And I think free to play can be very successful in Raid. But I think the timeline is a little bit friendlier here. There's definitely going to be a grindy stage. Like I'm hitting in the main story. I've gotten to, let's see, hard chapter 4, I think. No, 5. I'm in chapter 5. So I've completed chapter 4. And it's getting hard. It's definitely getting hard. It's been hard for a while, I should say. It's not getting hard. So it feels like completing hard. Like I completed normal, I think I want to say on like day 6. And I'm now on day 12. And again, I didn't play for the first 2 days. So it really only took, I think it took me 4 days of active playing, maybe 5 to complete normal. And so hard is definitely slowed down, and I'm assuming hell will be even slower. There's a lot of stuff that you need to do to enhance your heroes. So, the first thing you're doing is you're leveling up, right? So you're using experience from battles, and then you're using experience potions to level up your heroes. When they hit a 10, like a decade, 10, 20, 30, 40, then you have to advance them. This is like promoting. And you need materials to unlock that. So you need experience to level, then you need the materials to unlock that. Then you can awaken them. Now, awakening is the purple stars. So the purple stars require materials, and the higher the star, the higher the material. So I'm up to the point where I need legendary statues. Whereas it started with uncommon, I think, and then it was rare, and now it's legendary. Now, at 1, 3, and 5 stars, I think. Is it 1, 3, and 5 stars, or is it 6 stars? At 1, 3, and 6 stars, you can see here. So at 1 star, you get a belt slot. At 3 stars, you get a magic orb slot. And at 6 stars, you get a banner slot. So these are additional equipment slots. So you can see I don't have this one unlocked yet, right? So I've got the other 2 unlocked. So we'll get to that. So we're leveling up. We're promoting. We're awakening once we've been promoted. And then you have skill level ups. So these are their passives. And each of these needs to be leveled up. And, so you need to farm material here. So this is another way to empower them. Then you've got chivalry. Chivalry is the duplicate system. So when you get dupes of your heroes, for rares, you need 2 dupes, and then you can unlock a level of chivalry. So you can also get like these little tokens, and you need 30 of them. Let's look at somebody else. So it's like here. So you can have like the champion specific ones. Like I could have the Tristan one. I just need 1 copy of Tristan. A duplicate would give me one of these, or I could buy these in the store. Or I need 20 legendary, like not random tokens, but like generic tokens. And so that's relatively tough to get, and then you get your, you can chivalry up once. So you can see how many duplicates you're going to need to really empower all of your champions. So you get access to the champions, and you get access to a lot of ways to power up the champions. But for legendary champions specifically, this system is going to take a long time. I literally need 10 additional copies of Tristan in order to fully max out his chivalry system. That could take a very long time. Okay, and then, so that's just the level up system, right? And then you go to the relic system, because there's the relic system. Remember, you've got the 3 different relics, one for each element. Now, each of these can be leveled up. So they have a level system, and you can see it's just a star system, just like the champions. You can unlock 6 stars, so you can go up to level 60. And then you need materials to advance their star level when you cap out. You need to unlock the 4th star and the 5th star and the 6th star. And then you need to awaken them as well. So everything that you can do for a champion, basically, in terms of levels, right? Leveling, promoting, and it's called advancing. Leveling, advancing, and awakening, you can do for their relics. And there are 3 of them. So you have to do that 3 times for every champion if you want all of their relics. And then you have the skills for each relic. Now, I think these are all independent. So you can see here, like, Soaring Blade has 4 skill level ups for Storm, but it also has 4 here and 4 here. I think, though, that because this one doesn't change, maybe, I don't know, somebody can tell me, because this is called Soaring Blade here, and it's called Soaring Blade here, and it's called Soaring Blade here, that once you level this up, it's just leveled on all 3 relics, but I'm not 100% sure. But the other skills, you actually do have to, you have to level these up individually. So now, you've got potentially, 3 plus 5 is 8, plus 4 is, 12, maybe 30 or so additional levels of relics that you have to do, right? And again, so that's a ton of work for your champion, and then a ton of work for your relics. Then you have the equipment, right? And you have to farm to get the material, to forge the equipment. And then you can enhance the equipment, you can change the substats, and you can try to get the best set here. And again, then you have to unlock the 3, extra slots, and then you have to forge that stuff. And so it's like there's a crazy, I don't even know if that's everything. Is that everything? I think that might be everything, finally. Right? Because there's the passives. We talked about the passives. Yeah. And so there's just so many ways to continually progress your champion. So to get one champion fully maxed out as free to play feels like it's going to be a very long haul. So like maybe in the first month, I'll get one rare champion fully maxed out. Maybe. But I doubt it. Like, one of the things here about Arthur is I already have his chivalry maxed. So your first rare, you can get the chivalry max pretty easily. Not legendaries, but rares, you're going to get a lot of these rare kind of tokens. So you get the generic rare tokens like these, you get these quite a lot. Okay, you can see I've got her up to level 3, and you also get copies of the rares quite frequently, even though you do need 2 copies to like use, 2 duplicates, I mean, to unlock a chivalry. Like here for Isolde, I have not used any of the generic tokens. I've only used copies. So that means I've gotten 6 additional copies of Isolde on top of the first copy I got of her. So this seems relatively doable for a rare champion. But for legendaries, you can see I don't even have 1 yet. And so then, we come here and we're like, okay, so the level up, yeah, that's not too bad. I can get to 60. The advance is not so bad. Like this is not too bad. You can do this relatively well. Like what you need here is this material is really the trickiest one. So it's just about energy. Like if you have the time and the energy, you can get into Plane of Beasts and just do those. It's not too bad. This material might be a little bit rough. I'm not sure about this. I haven't really tried to farm that too much. The awakening is tough. That is harder. Because you need these statues, and those come from the favor dungeon, and each one only opens up once a week, and then on the weekend all of them are open. So there's 6 of them, right? So like I guess Sunday or something, all 6 are open. So really you get 2 shots a week at any particular favor dungeon, but you really need to have a full squad to really push it. You're probably going to be leaning on one champion in that favor heavily. So you can see, like, for any given favor, it's like, okay, let's say for Crow, let's say I wanted to take Rosier up because I'm like, okay, she's super powerful. I need to get in here to the favor dungeon to really get her advanced. And that means I have to build probably three other Crow champions, at least decently well, even if I'm leaning on her. So she's going to be my most advanced. But I'm looking at the other champions and I'm like, well, I don't have Bedivere. I don't have Jillian, right? If I had these two champions, then yeah, Crow would be no problem. Best support in the game, best damage dealer in the game, right? No worries. Then I could basically just walk right up. But without those two champions, Rosier is actually stuck. Like, there is sort of a cap to her. I can't really push her beyond that unless I want to heavily invest in Nicholas, and I want to, invest in maybe one of these uncommons. Sorry about that. But as you can see here, Jillian's the only Crow support. She's the only Crow support. So I'd probably have to go with a tank or two and a control or two. It's going to be tough to get through without a support. So until I pull Jillian, it's almost like, why bother leveling up Rosier past a certain point, right? Like, get her the basics. That's fine. Maybe I can use, but it's like, so she's not a priority. Whereas if I look at Stag, like here, you can't see because I'm probably blocking. Go back. Okay, so this is better. So yeah, so here I was saying, it's like, I don't have Bedivere and I don't have Jillian. So that means Rosier is kind of stuck. So I don't really want to invest. But here I've got tons of Stag champions, and I've actually got several good options for supports. I've already got a great damage dealer, right? So it's like, literally, I could take, 2 damage dealers and 2 supports in if I wanted. Arduin seems like a pretty good cross between damage and support. So she's an option. And I don't even have to go down into the uncommons if I don't want to. Now, Bull is another favor that I've actually done pretty well with because Arthur is Bull and he's my top champion. But I also pulled Clementine, who's very solid. So I have a support and I have a damage dealer who's kind of a tank. And that lets me basically do whatever I want with the other 2 spots. I ran up Lot because he was my first legendary I pulled. And then Jarrett. So those were the 4 that I was using. I was using Luke for a little bit because you get him from the story. But then I switched over to Jarrett. And that did pretty well. Steed, I haven't done anything with. I literally don't think I've cleared stage 1. But now that I have Lancelot, I'm going to want to do that. But I don't have Merlin. So, I'm going to have to see if I need a support. Serpent was one I invested in because of Morgan. And then I pulled Sigrun. So I was like, oh, let me get these 2 up. Frederick is not a great support. At least not until you get some chivalry into him, which I haven't done. But he's just enough. He's just enough. I've got him to I think I had him at level 30 something, 32 or 33. And then I think I actually leveled up Serju at first because I didn't have Frederick. And so I wanted that support. So I think I leaned into Serju, who's like my highest level common. I really want Sarah. Once I get Sarah, this is easy because she might be the best overall healer support in the game, who's not Jillian, right? This is the best one. But yeah. And then let's see, Hound, I had to lean into a little bit because I wanted to level up Turin some. And so that's why I got Gareth and Urians and Baldwin up a little bit. And that team did fine. But currently today is Crow, and Crow is my weakest, and there's nothing to do here. I can't even do. Frederick is more endgame? Okay, that's good. Yeah, I really hate the Crow favorite too. This is my least favorite. Not because there aren't good champions here, but because my roster is I love the idea of Bedivere and Jillian. I would love these 2 champions. I think those are 2 next to Merlin, these are the 2 champions I want next. right? I want Merlin, and then I want these two. Guinevere would be cool, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I'd like Guinevere. All of the legendaries seem pretty cool. I don't love Lot, and he was the first one I pulled. But he's starting to grow on me a little bit. If anybody has a good use for Lot here. And I don't know about Sergius and Florentius and Clarison that much. Gawain would be cool. I would like Gawain. I think he hits pretty hard too. But he's got a burn. He's got scorching heat. He's got defense down. He's got an AoE that hits pretty hard. Yeah. And he also he joins up with Gareth. So Gareth and Gawain are kind of a duo. That's one of the reasons why I leveled Isolde. It doesn't say it here, but Isolde and Tristan are a duo. Maybe it says it only on hers? Okay, yeah. So when she attacks, there's a 30% chance for Tristan to attack. It doesn't go the other way, which is kind of interesting. I guess because she's a healer and they don't want to, they don't want to like, she's got dots. It doesn't have anything on her A1. She has dots on her A1. Maybe they don't want to give you extra chances to get dots out there. So when Tristan attacks, Isolde doesn't have an extra chance to attack. But when Isolde attacks, Tristan has a chance to attack, which is really nice. So that's one of the reasons why I built those two. But Gareth and you can see Gareth and Gawain actually co-op each other, which I thought all of them did, but apparently not. Apparently Tristan and Isolde is only in one direction. Got Gawain and Bedivere in one 10 pull. Wow. What I like about this game is it seems like a lot of people are using different teams. Morgan and Kay are very meta, but there's a lot that you can, that you're using completely different. Yeah, I agree. Anguish? Oh, yeah. Well, Isolde is Anguish's daughter, I believe, right? So Anguish is the king and Isolde is princess. And then I don't know why Frederick is also part of this. We look at Frederick, does Anguish attack when Frederick attacks? No, but these two champions do. Okay. Frederick just looks like Loki to me. He looks like a budget Loki. I don't know who this is. I don't remember this character from any of the stories, but it's been a while. Like I don't know if anybody's read like the Once and Future King or some of the older versions of Arthur. Yeah. So I've got some energy to burn here. I'm almost capped. I don't want to get capped. So let's decide what we want to do here. What do we need to do? What I would like to do is be able to advance her. So I need mythic mana orbs. I could advance this. Let's go ahead and I need these. All right, let's get some white polishing powder. Let's go get some white polishing powder. Let's do that first. Yeah, this is a good one for me to do. I like these because I want to create vigor sets. So I might have to manual this though, because I don't think I'm ready to auto that. I might be. I actually don't think I am. But let's see if there's let's see if there's a different one. I also need some of these. Oh, I'm gonna have to start farming perfect fairy stones at some point. I need white. Here's the white. Okay, that's not too bad because I'll get a shot at this. And then let's see if we can maybe 3-star this. So win in 20 turns and use 2 or more defense heroes. Using defense heroes here would not let me do it in 20 turns. So if I'm going for 20 turns, I probably want to use more attack-based champions. Because my defensive options are not great. My defense options, other than Sigrun, right? Like I can do 1, but I can't do 2. Probably should have leveled Hector. He's actually a pretty good champion. All right. So fire, 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 and storm. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do. I'll put him on frost. Could put her on frost as well, actually. But she's better. She's better here because of the increased defense. It's so huge. Let's go ahead and start this battle. Yeah, I found that out last night. You can do the conditions in different runs. That's true. Yeah, that looks fine here. Looks fine. So Tristan, you know, without a vigor set on the team, you need somebody to just be A1ing. And Tristan's got the best A1, but he's also got like such a hard-hitting A3 that it kind of sucks putting him into A1. I could put Arthur into A1, and sometimes I do, and let Tristan carry the damage, but these elements are different than it said in the thing. It said there would be 3 fire and 1 storm, and there are 2 fire and 2 storm. Oh well, okay. What bundle in my inventory? Oh, for the powder, I don't have enough. Yeah, I just don't have enough. I need at least 1 more. That's why. Because I've been stuck on that for like a whole day, and every time I look at it, I'm like, oh man, I need to go run one. I just haven't done it. So yeah, Skull, I agree. Morgan and Kay are so good. But also, you know, Arthur is extremely good. Also, Tristan is extremely good. Like they give you a lot of good champions just directly. Like they just hand them to you. So how many? I got 3. Wait, we'll do 1 more. Yeah. Yeah, they give you very good champions. And in fact, I don't think so outside of the favor dungeons, I don't actually think you need that many champions to complete the content in this game. I think you could probably focus a roster of like maybe 7 champions and do 100% of the content would be my guess. And I don't even think you technically need a legendary, although I think Morgan and Tristan are really good legendaries that since you get them for free, you may as well. Morgan's so clutch, and Tristan's really good. And when I was doing research, I didn't find anybody who was touting Tristan as very good, but I find him to be kind of irreplaceable, and maybe it's because I don't have K, right? Maybe it's because I went with Arthur. If I take Tristan out of the team, I struggle. And I just think his attack speed decrease is so powerful, but also he just crits for so much damage. And I don't even have him with his chivalry level, so yeah, I don't know that I could make a tier list right now. I haven't played enough of the champions, But what I do know is that Arthur is solid. You can see he's the MVP here, even though, Tristan is very close in power. Um, one of the reasons why I was trying to decide who to invest in, and I figured I was probably going to invest in Arthur because he's the main character and because it's King Arthur and he's cool. Like Kay is like whatever, like she's cool, but she's a minor character, So I was like, okay, I'll probably invest in King Arthur. But then what happened was I got all 3 of his relics really easily, and then I was like, well, that will give me a very flexible damage dealer who can be any affinity or any element. And that has benefited me definitely. Having the ability to swap the elements for him has been very useful. All right, so now let's go here and we're looking at turn, right? All right, so here we got the materials to advance, so we're going to advance her. And then let's go ahead and level that one up a little bit. All right. We can't awaken it again. I could go and get that, but right now I don't care that much. I'm not trying to awaken. Although I should probably. Yeah, let's go ahead. It's fine. Okay. The fact that you can't get rid of these orange dots is frustrating. Like they're permanent until you do the thing that removes them, So it's like I have to awaken this relic if I want to get rid of it, or I have to use up these materials so it's no longer possible. That's just frustrating. Let's check our achievements. So the relics come from a lot of different places. The relics you can summon here, and I highly recommend waiting until you have a 10 summon so you get the guaranteed rare, which is really nice. But there's also this relic swapping system, so you can exchange relic shards and then buy them here. That would take probably a long time. When you start getting extras, that'll be fine. But actually, so in the clan shop, I think in the clan shop, yes, you can see I bought right over my head. I bought Arthur's Frost Relic. So that was here for 1,550 clan silver or clan tokens. So that was the first purchase I made in this shop. And then you can see there are also relics for certain champions here, right? So you can find some in the clan shop. I'm not sure about the other shops. Let's go look. I feel like at least one other shop has an option. So let's go to the shop. You can come up here, go to special shops. And yeah, so here are some Guinevere relics. This is the celebration shop, which is probably going to go away. Yeah, that's on a timer. And then here's the Forbidden Dungeon. Now, when you come in here, you can just buy tickets for the 10 poles and then do it that way. And what am I currently saving for is the question. Right? I could get some rare mastery stones. I could maybe do that. I could go for this, but there's literally only one of them that I would get. Or I could buy this, and I think that would take me to a 10 pull or close to it. But there's some valuable things in here, and the Forbidden Dungeon is not a place where you get a lot of tokens. So when you come in here, I'm getting 90 times 5, so I'm getting 450 of them a day. at this point. And that wasn't true, you know, on my way up. Like, you were getting fewer down. So if I could get past this, this would be nice. You can see the first clear is 220. So you do get kind of bunches on the first clear, and then you get more tickets. But I can't quite beat this floor. Can't quite beat this floor. I might try again later. What? This crystal consumption. So I need to spend 800 more gems. So I really need to get into the arena. No, it would only be 8 on the flame relics. It's okay. So what did we just do? We just got Turin a little bit stronger here on her relic. And now what I really need to do is I need to unlock her. I need to be able to advance her. So I need 23 of these mythic mana orbs. And I'm going to need 1 of these perfect fairy stones. Now, the best place to farm the mythic stones is actually in the Plane of Beasts. What happened here was the first clear of 8 actually gave me 20, and that allowed me to promote Morgana past 50. And then Tristan, I think. So I actually think I saved up for her, and then I was saving up for him. And then I got the 20 or 25 that they gave me there, so that was nice. So yeah, Tristan A1 spam is nice. So let me show you this. Like, let me jump into here. Let me just go to this. So this is my team for stage 8. And it's not a fast farm. It's not super slow. I want to say 4 minutes, maybe. Let's say 3 minutes, 13 seconds. So actually faster than I thought. Still not fast, but now I kind of semi-autoed this. Let me jump over to the other side again. But yeah, I put Arthur in the flame relic, which I'm not actually sure is the best relic for him in this fight. It might actually be Frost. Let me go look at Arthur for a second, because his Frost has better AoE, and it also has dots, right? So the flame does have stun, but I don't think you can stun this boss. So this is really good in certain like story fights. This stun, I would love to have this skill leveled up, because once it's at 70%, it's going to be much more reliable. But that stun is really good. And then he's got the attack increase on his A1, and then he hits really hard with his A3. So it's a good combo of damage with a little bit of crowd control. But this is a much different one. You still have the increased attack, but now you have this A3 has a 50% chance to inflict chill. Now, chill lowers attack speed, plus it's a dot, right? Takes damage equal to 3% of max HP each turn. And then you've also got this A2, which is a decreased defense for 2 turns. Now, the chances here are actually really bad. It's 20%. It's only going to book up to 40%. I feel like this should be like 60 or 70%. When this lands, it makes life a lot easier. Although there might be something that affects it. Like there might be his chivalry might affect it. No, it doesn't look like it does. Yeah, okay. I don't actually know that. I wish I did. Like it attacks all enemies 3 times. You're right. So if it's 40% times 3, then that ends up being something like almost 75%. Um yeah, over 75%. So maybe. You went Storm. Yeah, Storm's also good. So Storm gives buffs, right? Attack increase and speed increase for 2 turns on all allies, which is really nice. And so I have gone this as well. And then this A3 does hit hard. But it's really something you want to use into Frost, right? But yeah, this can be useful against this boss because you're trying to break the shield, so the more turns you get, the better off you are. But the decreased defense would be nice in terms of the damage you get. And then the chill actually lowers his attack speed. And this can stack because you can get multiple chills. Although you won't get multiple chills from Arthur typically. But you could because you have the decreased speed from Tristan. So if you get decreased speed 1 plus decreased speed 2 plus you have Morgana lowering the attack gauge, and then you get the chill out, right? And then you can get another chill out. Like you can really slow this boss down doing that. So I don't know which is better. We'll try them both. Why don't we try them both? Let's start with the chill and see. I'm just gonna go 1 here. Let's see how this works out. So let me just see what I've got going for skill order. Yeah, so I was having Arthur do whatever he wanted. Morgan's only doing her A2. I think this was around I put together a vigor set and then I ended up putting it on Sigrun and I was like, with the vigor set, I think this would work better. Without a vigor set, I think it's actually problematic. But let's see what happens. All right, so yeah, all right. So let's just do this auto. And then the other question is like, is it worthwhile to kill the tusks right away, or is it better to like just focus on the boss? And I haven't decided yet. I've sort of let them auto to see what happens, and some attack the left tusk and some attack the right tusk. I've also done it where I've like semi-autoed where I've clicked, the target, and it, then have everybody like knock the right tusk down first and then the left tusk, which are kind of on the wrong side, which is kind of funny to me. Like I get it. Like the left tusk is like he's facing the other way, so it's on when you're looking at him. Like if you were looking at the boss, and he was staring you in the face, on your right would be his left tusk, but it's just weird that they make it, they do it that way. So you can see I've got, all right, so let's just stop it right here. Oh. All right, so now I had chill and the 2 decreased speeds up, so that was what I was going for in terms of slowing this boss down. And you can see occasionally Morgan's going to use her A1, which gets you some things out there which are helpful as well. The end of this fight is always kind of hairy, which is why you want those decreased speeds out there, because when he starts nuking you, like your team dies in a hurry. Can we get a second decreased speed out there? Nope. That This is why I think turn is so good, because she gives you the increased defense. So that worked great. That worked really well. All right, so that was 2.5 minutes. That just lowered my best time significantly by 40 seconds. And I was messing around with it. So now let's do the same thing, but we'll put Arthur in Storm. And I think this will probably work just fine too. The difference being I may have to change. No, I guess we won't change. Let's not change this. Let's just let him do his thing and see what happens. Basically use the same thing. Again, a vigor set, I think, in here would be incredibly valuable. I'm not sure how much value the drain set is giving Arthur. So my initial intention was to put him in the vigor set to get that extra point of vigor every round. And then I got Sigrun, and I was like, oh, she's really good in vigor. And she didn't have a good set. And so it was like, do I want to pull everything off of Arthur and put it on her? And then I was like, well, what I could do is I could put Tristan in the drain set, which is basically lifesteal, right? This gives him health back. And because he does so much damage, but then I'm going to actually be taking the attack away from him. And so, like, you know, how much lifesteal? But you'll notice, like, he's the hardest one to keep alive. Arthur is always the last one to die. He's the highest level, but he's also just inherently tankier, it seems like, than pretty much all the other damage dealers, which I like. That's another reason why I kind of have enjoyed Arthur so much, because he's a little bit easier to keep alive. And I don't mind extending fights, you know. That's kind of cool. Yeah, you just go for you guys go for the main body. I often do that as well. Yeah, Clementine is good because of the turn meter. Again, you know, if you're using multiple A3s on different champions, then you really need a vigor set. Maybe even more than one. I want to do a little bit, like, I want to do a video on this. I want to talk about team composition, because team composition isn't just about the champions you bring or the heroes you bring. It's also about how you distribute the points of vigor that you have. Because you start with 5, right? And then you get 1 every turn, and you get 2 if somebody A1s. But really what happens is if somebody A1s, you get 3. Right? Because if you think about it, like, let's say Tristan is A1ing. So when Tristan goes, he gets a point at the beginning of his turn. But when he A1s, he doesn't use 1. And then the next champion would get 1 plus the 1 from Tristan's A1, right? So really, you're skipping Tristan's turn, and you're putting 3 extra points on the next champion. So you don't want to waste vigor. Like, you'd always rather, you never want to get to the point where, like, that extra vigor doesn't give you something. You would prefer not to do that. But simultaneously, you have to figure out, like, how to speed tune according to your vigor setup, your skill setup. And that may change from fight to fight, which is really interesting. That's the thing that's grabbed me tactically about this. It's like, I think there's a lot of depth there that I haven't seen anybody dig into yet with the vigor system. Now, I mean, maybe somebody has. I just haven't seen it yet. I'm not saying there's nothing out there. Okay, so I didn't get any good rewards there. But so this was 307. So it was significantly faster with the frost. Let's go back and try it just one more time. I'm gonna go back to frost here. Now the relics are the same level. You can see all my relics are the exact same level on Arthur, so it literally doesn't change my team power at all. Go ahead and do a full triple here. You have everyone in vigor. Nice. All right, let's just click on the boss. Let's see if we ignore the tusks and we just go for the boss. How does this work? Now, one of the issues is I think one of the tusks gives you the decreased speed when you get hit. Yeah. So the left tusk reduces your attack gauge. So it looks like it's actually better to split up the kills. Like if you can split them up by 3 turns, then you get a better debuff on the boss. Now they might die anyway because I have enough AoE in here between Morgan and Arthur to maybe get some kills. So, you know, the question is like how fast do you want to kill the tusks? So if I focus on the tusks, Tristan will kill them faster, but if he's just hitting the boss, then the tusks won't die that fast. I think one of the differences in terms of the time is whether or not Arthur lands a chill. If he lands a chill on the boss, then I think it becomes a lot easier because not only are you doing max HP damage, but you're slowing that attack gauge even more. And when the boss gets fewer turns, you don't have to sit through those animations, right? The boss's animations are long. Some of them are really slow. So there we killed both of the tusks at the same time. That's good. His nuke did very little damage there. And we're gonna have a fast clear here. This is gonna be our fastest clear by quite a ways. Another 30 seconds. We just took between those few runs, we took over more than a minute off of my best time here. 2:04, 2:05. And I think originally I was doing it at 3:10. So a minute 5 seconds faster. So the lesson to be learned here is Frost seems to be better than for Arthur. Frost seems to be better than Storm. We could try it in Flame. We could try it in Flame just to see, just to make the comparison, because he will do the most damage here. But this is all single target. So since we're avoiding the tusks, we won't kill the tusks here, which means that nuke could potentially be very dangerous. But let's go ahead and start this one. And again, we'll just click on the boss right away and see what happens. My feeling is without the decreased defense and the chill, that even though the skills do a little bit more damage, I think overall this might be slower, but it could be faster. Could be faster. He does hit very hard with his flame relic, especially that A3. That A3 smacks so much, and if he crits on it, remember he gets that third hit, and it's so nasty. Definitely landing your debuffs is the biggest aspect of like varying your success rate or your like the time it takes to clear something, or even sometimes, you know, your ability to win a fight. So effect accuracy is really important. And I haven't been rolling all that well on effect accuracy stuff. So I think like my Morgan's effect accuracy is like 25%, maybe it's a little higher, maybe it's like 33. Yeah, this looks like it's going to be slower. And again, some of that could be just variability based on RNG, but like we're having trouble knocking down the shield there in a reasonable amount of time. And with the tusks up, you get both of those issues, right? So you get the attack gauge reduction. And this one you don't have to worry about. But the left tusk feels like something that, you know, is more important to take down than the right tusk. All your non-DBS should be in Vigor. I've got Turin in a healing set, which makes her heals nice and big. But I have thought about it. The issue, of course, being that it's expensive. It's expensive to make Vigor sets. But this was 212. This was slightly slower. So, you know, even if you come in here and you try to make some Vigor in the Forge, right? So go to Vigor set. You know, you can make in 3 and 4 star pieces for relatively cheap, but then you've got to farm runestones and iron ingots. But if you want to step up to 5 star, you know, now, like, not only do you need the legendary lake stones and the rare ingots, you also need wood and iron, or lumber and iron, I think it is, right? Like, you need these two, which is just expensive. So, you know, you're going to end up rolling a lot of 3 and 4 star stuff. And then it's like, I don't know. Is it good to do that? Like, is it, you know? So basically what I did is I just took the 3 and 4 star pieces that I already had from other sets. I was like, why make Vigor specifically there? Like, why not wait until I get, you know, 5-star stuff? And some of my Vigor pieces are 5-star stuff or 4s that I've forged here. You know, and the 6 stars, like, you need the mythical ones. I'm like, oh man, that's gonna take forever. But because it's so expensive, I only want to create Vigor sets that have a good chance of being a minimum of 4-star. And as a result, like, I don't have that many pieces. You know, I could do one now, I guess, but I'm trying to get enough material to level up my castle next. You know, so I still got to clear these two. This is really what I want to get done. I want to get to these two things. And so what I was hoping to do was advance Turin today, but we did not get very many mythic mana orbs. So what we could try, I'm not sure how I feel about this. We could try pushing Penveed here to 9. That's such a huge jump up. This is level 55. This is level 67. And look here, it's 86, 19 additional levels here. So I think 8's a good farm in 2 minutes. That feels pretty good to me. But you know, your chance is like pretty low here. But the first clear, I think, is a lot. I think, yeah, you get 40 for the first clear. So just being able to clear it once, if I could even manual it, just clear it once, that would be really valuable. I just don't know if I have the power here. What does it say? Heroes level 60. Well, I'm not there yet. All equipment 4-star. Nope. All keepsakes at 1 star. I don't have all keepsakes on anybody yet, because you have to get to 6-star awakened and enhance all keepsakes to +3. I have that on everybody actually, but since I don't have all the keepsakes, so yeah, this would be stage 9. I don't have to be 60 for stage 8. So if I look here, right, like I've got everything clicked here. I cleared it before I had everything clicked. You don't have to, like, the recommended stage conditions are actually, it really depends. If you've built your team well and you know your champions and you've got a good plan, you definitely don't need, I would say in general, I clear it when I have about half of these done, or even like a third of these, you know. So there are 12 check marks. And if I have like 4 to 6 check marks, I'm usually good. Again, it depends. Like, it can't just be any 4 check marks, you know, and it's like the ones that are not checked. Like, I can't have 1 level 55 and then, you know, 3 level 30s or something. You still have to have a reasonable team. But all right, I think what I'm going to do for now, because we got 2 hours left before server reset. So I'm going to try to get, I'm going to try to get my gems here in the arena. Now, what's interesting about the arena is if you lose a battle, you lose points, but it just then resets this thing, and you don't have to use one of these refreshes. But just because of speed, I'm going to use the refresh now, and we'll see. Okay, so this one's a little bit better. That's fairly close. I usually try to use affinity in these to my benefit. So if I kill K, that's usually going to be good, but I don't, Arthur, he's got a level 60 Arthur here, so I don't think I want to go Storm. I don't think I want to go Storm, and I can't go Frost, so I think I have to go Flame here. I think I have to do that. There is a timer on this, but it does matter. Like, can't just let it slide. But let's see. We want to go after. We want to go after K, I think. See if I can stun her. No stun. And again, a vigor set would help me here. Ooh, Morgan got wrecked. I need to get a slow on there, Morgan, as well. So let me try that. That's important. Stunner. Ouch. There we go. Hit the slows. The slows are so key in Coliseum. I'm going to lose this one. Sometimes my Arthur can pull it out. Sometimes it's hard. Like, I focus K, and sometimes people just seem to build her, like, really hard to hit. Like, she's just hard to hit sometimes. So I just lost 11 points. All right, but this will be easy. All right. Yeah, we'll go. Wow, another Raid Shadow player. Thank you. Thank you, Mav. Yeah, I got the sponsorship, and I was like, I have had sponsorship offers to play other games, and I haven't taken up any of the sponsors yet until this one. And I did it for 2 reasons. One is I've heard a lot about the game, like there's been buzz about the game. And so I was like, okay, let me see what it's all about. And then the second reason was it was a decent deal, like, you know, from a standpoint, like a business standpoint, it was a decent deal. It wasn't just a one-off video. It's 4 videos for the month. So that gives me enough time to like really play the game and get into it and feel like I can do good videos. So, you know, not that like if a 1 video deal came down, I would consider it, but I would rather do more videos. And so I was like, yeah, let me try it out. I'm going to have to change this up, I think. Let's go to, we'll do this. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. And it came along at the right time too, because I have not been super motivated to do anything with Raid, for the last few weeks, maybe a couple of months. It just feels like Raid is kind of stale for me right now, and where I am. And so it's nice to have something else. Normally I play more than one game, but for the last year and a half, because I've been trying to get the content creator thing going, like I have not been. Let's just kill this guy if we can. I have not been playing a lot of other games. And so like I personally, as the gamer in me, needed a new game. Like I really needed a new game to play. I've been playing like League of Legends and stuff, like old games, just because it's easy to get back into them. But this came along at the perfect time, like both for the channel and for me personally. And I'm really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. It feels like every generation of these kinds of games gets a little bit better than the previous generation. Because I played Summoner's War or Summoner Wars, forget Summoner's War, I think it, back in the day, and I loved that game. And then I played like Galaxy of Heroes, and I played Strike Force, and all a whole bunch of different squad builders and stuff. And it just keeps feeling like every generation gets a little bit better. They get a little bit smarter at figuring out how to like solve the problems of the genre. And this definitely feels to me like a better game, a more complete game to this point than Raid was 3 years ago or 4 years ago for me. The story is more interesting. The combat system is not just cookie cutter. It's not just the exact same combat system. There's a greater feeling of role playing in the game. And one of the things that I like, and I've talked about Mythic Heroes before, which is another game I've played. Mythic Heroes didn't have a massive roster of champions either when it launched. It launched with something like 50 or 60 champions. And that was one of the best gacha experiences I ever had in that game. And for a lot of reasons, but it's like, one of the reasons was story. One of the reasons was like the tactical depth of the individual characters and the combos that you could use. You don't need 800 heroes. Like that's not necessary to make a good game. I think 100 heroes is more than enough. Now I know Fateless is currently, I think they're hoping for 200 at launch. That's their goal, which is a lot. Like most games do not launch with 200 heroes. And there is the replayability factor. Like there's the depth of collection there when you have a bigger roster. One of the things about King Arthur I'm a little bit worried about is, am I going to get bored when I'm going to get all of the champions? I'm going to get all the heroes here in this game, probably inside of 2 months or 3 months. Like maybe you get a little bit unlucky with the legendaries, but probably you'll get all of the champions within a few months of playing. And so, is that going to be a bad thing? Is that going to shorten the the appeal window? Like the longevity of the game will not be as good because there aren't as many champions. I don't know if that's going to be true or not. Yeah, she evades a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I think the game is very good. I like the graphics. I think the graphics are next gen. It's Unreal Engine 5. That's what these games should be using at this point. So like, the old Unity platform and even Unreal Engine 4 they don't look as good as this. Not that they look bad. I mean, I think the last generation was a serious step up from the previous generation, So but I think this generation of games just looks so good, and like the animations are clean and the options are really good. The assets are really nice. So that there's an appeal there to feel like I'm not playing an old fashioned game. Games that are, 5 years old, 6 years old. Like sometimes games will go through and they'll do a graphical update, and that can be nice if you can, like if your engine can handle that, or if you can upgrade to a new engine that doesn't take a ton of capital to, switch over to. But these graphics are better than Raid graphics, and Raid graphics were the best graphics in the last generation. Now, art style is different than graphics, right? I'm not talking art style. Some people might not like the art style, and that's fine. Like, I get that. But just from a pure, like, hardware standpoint, right? From what the graphic system can actually do and present, I just think this generation is so much stronger than the last one. And it really, sometimes I go back, like I'm playing Raid on the other screen. I'm looking at it, I'm like, Raid looks great. Like, I'm looking at I've got it on the other screen. Raid looks awesome. But like, you can see a difference in the character portraits. You can see a difference in like the textures and the lighting. You can definitely see a difference. It still looks good. Even for now, it still looks good. Like, if you picked up Raid today, I think you'd be pretty happy with it. But I don't know that that's going to stay true once this next generation of games is a couple of years old. Once King Arthur's been out, once all of this generation of games is out for 3 or 4 years, now you're going to look at Raid and it's going to look cartoony. Like, if you look at the base in Raid versus the base in King Arthur, like, the graphical difference there is clear. Not just the art style, which is also different, but just like the level of image quality is so different. You've got all but 2 champs in 35 days. Yeah, there you go. That's what I was talking about. All right, we're going to try to get this one. Is this the same guy that beat me before? I wasn't paying attention. I'm going to try that. I think we're going to try to kill Morgan first. Come on, where's my turn? Damn it. Make it a little bit better. I can kill the Morgan. I think I win this. And now she's got the slow, so that's going to help. Now she's got the double slow. King Arthur. Turn, like, it's not really turn meter manipulation like it is in Raid, but controlling the speed of your enemies is incredibly valuable in this game. I think we got this. Kay is still a little worrisome, but I think once Arthur's down, I don't think Kay has enough on her own to get through my turn. Yeah, anytime I come into arena and I'm faster than the team, like significantly, especially if it's a team that's using Morgan. I'm like, she's a waste of a champion if she's not fast. Like she's so, and I get it. Like some people just go vigor because they just want to use their power skills. And it's like, if you don't get a chance to go, like, I don't care what skills you're actually going to use. Like, you're not using enough skills to hurt. I mean, literally, if you watch that fight, they basically didn't move. I think my Morgan is like, I want to say she's 190-ish. I don't know if I can show you here. Can I show you? I don't think I can show you. I'll show you after. I think we want to kill Morgan again. I was autoing, and that was a mistake. I should not have been autoing. Okay. Yeah. I think I'm going to pay the price here for getting distracted. Man, that Rosier hits so hard. There we go. This is what we need. Get back into a healthier rotation. No. Yeah, I paid the price. I wasn't paying attention at the beginning of the fight, and I left it on auto battle for too many turns. That's all right. That's okay. I only lost 4 points. Damage dealers. Flame probably. This I can auto. I wish there was a way to turn off the auto before you got into the fight. Yeah, B Cherry, I agree. I agree that it's I enjoy the fight here. I also enjoy the fact that you don't have to fight that many battles. It's not like tokens. This is literally infinite. You can play as long as you want. You can just keep playing. There's no limit to how often you can play or how many times you can play per day. But you're only required, I think, to play one battle. You only have to do one battle to get your daily mission. Unless maybe there's a clan quest for it, right? Like, then maybe you have to do more than one. Yeah, that's right, Dexar. So basically, I have auto on right now. So if I want to not enter the next one, I have to turn it off here. But you can't, like, in Raid, you have the checkbox where you can turn off auto outside of the battle. I think that's a better system. I think one of the reasons they do it here is because they have the timer. They want you in auto battle. They're like trying to encourage you to use auto battle because there's only a 5-minute timer. So if you don't start in auto, it's like you could potentially just run out your 5 minutes. Like if you forget that you're not in auto, you could just run out your 5 minutes and just lose because nobody's taking a turn and the defender always wins, which I think is a bad way to do it. I don't think that's how it should be. I don't mind the 5-minute timer, but the 5-minute timer shouldn't start until you click your first skill, right? Like you should have the opening, just not like untimed. Oh, darn. We'll have to see. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Speed lead in arena. Let me go look at my my Morgan. I think she's 191 or something like that. I think she's that fast, but maybe she's not. Maybe she's only like 160 something. I think she's 190. I have rebuilt champions, so sometimes it's like I don't always remember exactly how I rebuilt them. She's 178 currently, so she did I did slow her down. I did slow her down. I think I put, yeah, that's what happened. I put this accuracy set on her. And I think before I had like a life set on her or something that was giving me like 20 speed. And now I've got more accuracy because she was not always landing her turn meter decrease. And I think I also switched one of the speed set pieces because I didn't replace the like for like, you know. I think I replaced these boots or something. And this only has 2 attack speed. So I think I lost about 12 or 13 attack speed. And I picked up effect accuracy is now at 50. And like I said before, I think she was down at like 30 something before, or 20, you know, low 30s, high 20s. So I picked up like 30% or 20%. I picked up 20% effect accuracy and I gave away about 12 or 13 speed. So I don't know, you know, it seems to be working out for me. Doesn't seem to be too bad. But I don't know if that's ultimately where I'm going to end up or not. You're punching above your weight. Yeah, that's all right, man. No worries. I know what you're saying. Don't auto if Merlin is in the enemy team. Yeah, maybe. That might be good. Why do you think that? What is it about Merlin? I mean, I find Merlin to be very tricky to defeat. Absolutely, like in story mode and stuff like that. He's the hardest character from my particular top teams to beat. Like if people built other champions, he might not be, but for my combo of, you know, champions I have available on my roster, he's very hard to beat. Netmarble is backed by Tencent, which is a non-starter for me. I don't know who Tencent is. I thought not. Netmarble was is it Kaboom? Gotcha. I have played one other game by two other games by Netmarble, I think. Neither one for a long time. I played Seven Nights 2, I think, or whatever the sequel was to Seven Nights. I played that. And that was very good. I actually really liked it. It did feel money grabby to me. It felt very money grabby to me. I do think that it was something that could be played free to play, but it would be very, very grindy. And I was already playing Raid at the time, and I was like, well, I don't want to play 2 of these super grindy games. So I backed away from Seven Nights or whatever it was called. But it was another game that had really nice graphics, a beautiful world, felt kind of like an ARPG, and story based. Although when they released it, the story was not very long. It was not as long as this King Arthur story is. Like, I feel like I got through the story in like 2 days. Whereas here it took me, you know, like 4 or 5 at least. But the replayability of the story there is a little bit better because you don't just do the battles. You have to like kind of run through the story maps. And it is more of an ARPG style. So that makes sense. You know, that's sort of the way that those games are done. And then the second one I played was the 7 Deadly Sins. So both games had 7 in them. But the 7 Deadly Sins, which is, I guess, an anime series, which I watched a little bit of after I started playing the game. Like I hadn't watched the series, and then I found out it was a series. So I went and watched the series, which was decent. The series is not bad. Wasn't phenomenal, but it wasn't bad. And and that one I liked, but it was clearly like for people who were fans of the anime. Um and so once I kind of got past the initial, shiny new game stage, it didn't hold my interest as much. So I would have played Seven Nights for longer if I wasn't playing Raid at the time. Yeah, darn, that's funny. Let me I'm gonna put up a poll. We always need a poll. Let me try to do this. Like I can't type and talk at the same time. All right, let me know what you think. Yeah, turn this one off of auto. When I don't land my slow, it really upsets me. The game is a bit too misogynistic for you? Like the King Arthur game is too misogynistic. I'm gonna get shredded by this. This K is crushing me, and I can't kill Morgan because they got. Yeah, I didn't even really see that Merlin was on this team. I can't beat this team. I wasn't really paying attention. I should not. I should not play into Merlin teams that have Morgan and K. Like that's just a bad combo for me. Merlin's easily the toughest champion for me to defeat. Yeah, that's true, Ryo. Um, yeah, I haven't noticed any particular misogyny in this game. In fact, it seems, like they've done a decent job creating more female characters than actually existed in the story. Some of the male characters have been changed to female characters, and um, a lot of the female characters are pretty strong in this game. They're also, I mean, like strong of will, strong characters, like strong personalities. Um, Guinevere is kind of a badass. And also sometimes they're bad guys, right? Like Sigrun is a bad guy, I think. And and Gareth is one of the like physically strongest champions in the game. So I think they did a pretty good job of balancing like the historical accuracy of the story with the need to have better representation for women in King Arthur. You know, there's the Tristan and his old storyline, which is actually a story, like it's a real story. So they did that one. There are my gems. Seven deadly sins. Gotcha. I don't remember that. It's entirely possible. It's entirely possible. I didn't, the seven deadly sins I did not play for very long. And I wasn't, it was so long ago. I don't remember if that's one of the reasons why I left. Okay. Now here is something that's actually worth getting, right? Because these 3 pulls are worth 150 crystals each. That's 450 crystals. Now you're getting 100 stamina for 50 crystals, right? So this is 450. This would be 50 in the shop. So now that's your 500, which means you're getting 500 honor tokens for free. So if you're spending gems, this is a decent one to spend gems on. It's not like super value, but at least it's commensurate. It's a little bit better than what you're getting from the game currently, just a little bit. Now the thing is, if I do this, how many gems do I have to spend? How many? Let's get my achievement. I think I needed to spend 800 gems, right? What do I need? Here? Is this where I was? No. This one? Yeah. I need to spend 800 gems to get this. Needs crystals, not gems, crystals. So where would I spend them? Currently, yeah. So I'm better off, I think, just buying that, spending them there. Hopefully that counts. It should count. This would be 500, then I'd need to spend 300 more. So I think I'm going to get this. Nice. Okay. Good. Yeah, so now let's look here again. And yep, so we need to spend 300 now. And the question is, where do I spend 300 gems? Could get more stamina. I can get more stamina. I could also just, I don't want to buy gold. I guess I could buy stamina. It's either that or two pulls from here. Right? Like I could do 2 pulls. Yeah, I feel like the stamina is the way to go. It's gonna progress my account more than the pulls, I think. Just I mean in the near future. It's gonna snowball me a little bit more today. So yeah, let's go get the stamina. I always would like to check the time here. I never want to waste it if it's close. This is a 5-minute timer, which is a long time. I am gonna wait for that. I'm gonna wait for that. So maybe let's go fight one more Coliseum mission. See, actually, I should check on my clan quests. Did I do all of them today? I did. That's good. Any group missions getting close? Clear the Forbidden Dungeon. Yeah, 5 days to do that. That's not a problem. Yeah, that's true too. I don't like this. I've gotten burned by this several times. It's like I should level up Because when you level up, it fills up your stamina to max, but it doesn't go over it. So that really bothers me. Yeah. I one time, like at 142, I was like at 141 energy. And I did one battle and I freaking went right to 143 or whatever it was. I was like, damn it. Okay, so I still need more of these. Where is it? I need more of these. Let's go run this one. And what did we say? This was definitely the frost relic here, right? So let's I hope it doesn't do it. I want to burn as much of this energy as possible. So I'm hoping that oops, let's click on the box. I'm hoping it takes 2 or 3 of these at least. Give me more stamina for today. Let's see how we're doing on our poll. 50% of you are already playing. 20% says I will probably start soon. 15% say maybe I'm going to wait and see, and then 15% say nope, I've got my games. Thanks to those 15, now 14% of you. I'd like to say thank you for hanging out in a live stream of a game that you aren't interested in playing. I think that's great. I think that's great just to, either to check it out or just to hang out with the group, or, you expected to take over Tuesday and you didn't get it. And you're like, well, I'm going to hang out with Cole Red anyway. So I do appreciate that. But it looks like now we're, talking about 85, 86% of us are at least either playing this or considering playing it. Only 22 votes though. So that 15% is only 3 people. That's it. Yeah, I think it's bad, Icky Ray. I agree. Let me not forget to do my my daily stuff over in Raid here. I think I've got everything done for the day. But while Penveed is fighting my team, I'm gonna look over here. So did I do my Iron Twins? I did my Iron Twins. Did I do all my faction wars? Faction wars are done. Did I do my Doom Tower? I've got 4 keys left on Doom Tower. Okay, so let's go ahead and do those. See, so the Tusks die anyway in this on this team when he's running a Frost Relic. Because he's got AoE, Morgan's got AoE, the two of them are just enough to basically kill the Tusks. And I think spreading them out is useful because it makes the end of the fight actually much safer. So that's not a bad way to do it. To get that decrease attack on the boss when the Tusk gets destroyed, when he starts doing these crazy nukes. I guess there's a thing. I can do this. Let's hopefully that didn't push me over to the, let's see how are we doing on XP. Yeah, so the next one's probably going to get it, right? The next times 3. I'm like, maybe I should do just 1, but maybe that would be. So what's this? This is, I need 155 experience. 155 experience. Anybody know how much experience you get from these? It doesn't tell you. I'm almost like maybe I should do a stage, like a lower stage just to get closer to the cap. That's only 44 energy, whatever. I'll just do it times 3. Yeah, I'm going to lose 8 energy, no big deal. Yeah, so here's the skill order. The other thing is you can. That's not what I was looking for. Isn't there a way you can focus boss? I saw somebody else on a video do that. Like in here, somewhere it said focus boss. If you repeat the battle, gotcha. That's weird. I just have to manually click them. I have to say, I always, I mean, you can let me know if you feel this way too. When you find a new game that you enjoy and you want to sink time into, like those first few weeks of that game are so satisfying. You know, like even with all the frustrations, even with the imperfect things in the game, like learning the systems is cool. Seeing how they're different from other games, like getting to the, through the story mode, all that stuff. I love the first like 6 weeks of a new game. That's awesome. The issue with some of these games is you get past that initial stage and now you're like, you've bought in emotionally. You're like, oh, this is my game now. And now you're stuck here and you're like, well, it's not as fun as it used to be, but I'm still holding on to the game for some reason. And I'm hoping this doesn't happen with this game because I'm honestly considering doing content on this game for the channel, like significant amount of content. Like I would probably be doing, say 2 King Arthur videos a week. And I think that would be fun for me, but like I don't want to do that and then a month later be like, "Oh, now I've got, 1,500 new King Arthur subscribers and I'm done with the game." So it's almost like I want to get in at the ground floor as a content creator with the game. That would be cool because when I started doing raid content, like it was a saturated market. We're talking about the game was 4 years old when I started. This game is still in beta. And I'm not done with raid yet. Like that's not a thing. There we go. We just got the energy. I'm not done with raid yet, but like I do think that if I want to make content creation a full-time career, I have to consider faster growing options. But, I've gotten into other games that were good for like 6 months and then disappeared. Like that happens too. And then if you're a content creator for that game, then you're like, uh-oh. Like raid has been here. It is the steady Eddie. It's going to be around. I believe. Oh, I didn't spend the gems yet. Now I can spend the gem. Hey, DV. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm really enjoying it. So now I need to go spend my gems. So let's see. We're going to do 1, 2. All right, and there's the third one. I'm down to 50 gems. Yeah, the next stamina charge 6 is 150 gems. So that should be maxed out on this. I'm going to claim that. I hope there's not like a really good crystal deal, like something for crystals. And, as soon as this server reset happens, I've got 450 energy. But now I think I can decide whether or not I want to do Tristan's chivalry. Or if I want to do Morgan's. I mean, damage dealt increase 1 to everybody permanent. I mean, they're both crazy good buffs. Yeah, I'll talk about Tristan in just a second. Additional damage times 2, regardless of whether the target has protection. So if you look at his relic, right? So it's this, the A2 and the A3. Then if the target has protection, deals additional damage 1 time. So it would now do this twice, even if protection wasn't there. So this becomes a 4-hitter. It goes from a 2-hitter to a 4-hitter. And this Goes from a 3-hitter to a 5-hitter. Plus, it grants crit strike damage increase 2 for 1 turn if the target does have protection, which is... I probably have some time on this. I think Morgan... I mean, this is a boost to the whole team. Damage dealt increase 1 for the rest of the battle as long as it's nice. But I think the other reason to do this is because of this second one. Right? Like, it gets me 1 closer to this attack gauge reduction, which I think is crazy strong. So, if we look at her, Maligning Vortex, when using skill 2, decreases target's attack gauge by 20. This is on a 4-turn cooldown, but this actually goes down to a 2-turn cooldown. So this is the thing that, like, this, I don't think this can be resisted. I don't think this can be resisted. Maybe it can. But so when you use the A2, this has a 50% chance to decrease the target's attack gauge by 10% with every attack. So anywhere between 0 and 30%. But I think the 20% from the passive always lands. And so this would become 35%. I think that's how that works on this one. Now, the reason that they do stuff like that, which is kind of interesting because you can't always see it in the game every time, like you have to really look for it, is because on her other relics, on this one, this doesn't decrease turn meter. But I think that the passive would still decrease turn meter. This one also doesn't decrease turn meter. But I think it would decrease turn meter anyway. Because of the passive. I think I'm gonna run her up. Yeah, that's true too, Kevin. That's a good call. Like you can buy his and you can't buy hers. So yeah, let's get her going. Oops. Now, this says at the start of the battle, so the battle has to start nighttime, I think. So what's this A3? Changes Squall of Thorns activation condition to when attacking. Oh wow! So you can get the decreased defense and the damage taken increase on any skill. That's awesome. That's awesome. As long as you're attacking. As long as it's an attack skill, which means her A2, which is a hit, would now apply the same debuffs as A1. As the A1. Again, this is not here. This is from this. When using skill 1. That's awesome. Yeah, I want to get this skill to level 3 fast too. Because then it becomes 2 turns on a 2-turn cooldown. You know, you want both of those levels there. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I love Morgan. She's how I like to play. I love the fact that she's a control champion. I love control champions. I like tanky control champions. Usually she's a damage dealing control champion, which is kind of cool too because it takes some pressure off of my damage dealers. And I tend to lean towards tankiness. You know, I'm a defensive minded kind of player in most games. So that feels pretty good. That feels pretty good. Turin Chivalry 2 Makes the battle start. Yeah, right. It's chivalry 1. It's our chivalry 1. Subjugation of darkness. At the start of battle, change weather to night and rain. Yeah. This is one of the reasons why I chose her originally. I remember watching a video. I don't remember which content creator, but somebody was like, I'm not sure. Like, some people like turn, some people don't. Actually, more than one content creator said this. Some people like turn, some people don't, because her A2 doesn't heal during the daytime. Right? Like, this A2 only grants recovery over time at night. And if you're in her other form, I'm sorry, her other relic, the A2 doesn't, affect resistance and defense unless it's night. But as soon as you get her chivalry to 1, that's all you have to do. Now every fight starts at night. Right? Unless there's something that prevents that. There may be some things that prevent that. I don't know. But this literally says at the start of battle, change the weather to night, right? So I think this combo of Turin and Morgan was why I chose to level up Turin instead of at the time I think I had, it might have been Isolde. Like, I was trying to decide between Isolde and Turin. And again, there was that combo. I was like, okay, so I know the nighttime thing, but the other thing about her that I really like is this defense increase 2, effect accuracy increase 2. I'm like, so effect accuracy increases, that makes it more likely that Morgan will land her abilities because she has all the debuffs, and the defense increase for everybody. And again, this wasn't when it was nighttime. It doesn't have to be nighttime. The defense increase for everybody leans into that tankiness. And I was like, okay, I'm having trouble keeping Tristan alive. This is going to be ultimately, once you get her set up, she's stronger than most other healers because she's giving you that defense increase plus the recovery over time on the same skill. When you get this leveled up, that's an extra turn, right? Both for the increased defense and for the recovery. So you can literally have her set up so she just does this, and then that allows you to go into that A3 or back to the A1 for more vigor. So I really like this combo. I don't have Sarah. I want Sarah. I think she would be the second. So Jillian is who I really want. This is the champion I want. I don't know that she's my most desired champion. I think right now my top 3 desired champions are Merlin, Bedivere, and Jillian. I think those are the 3 that I really want. I wouldn't mind Gawain or Guinevere. I think those are cool. The rest of them I don't care about. I'm not saying they're bad. I just don't know that much about them and whatever. As far as the rares are concerned, I've actually wanted Sarah and Anguish since I read their descriptions early on. I think what happened was there's one fight where in the night training camp, when you do intermediate training, you get to the end and you can pick any of the champions that you want. And Anguish was key to that. And I was like, oh, I like Anguish. I like the dots. I like that kind of, thing. The great thing about dots is you don't have to build somebody really damage heavy because the dots do the work. So you can kind of lean into that tankiness. And then Sarah is just a great healer who's got additional utility because of her buff disruption, which is really huge. Attack gauge disruption she has, here. But I think is this her or is this her default? I forget which one's her default. It might be this one. But she removes debuffs. So that was the big thing for me. And then defense increase as well on the big heal. So I'm like, oh yeah. This, Sarah leans into it, Anguish leans into it, and then literally they're the last 2 rares I'm gonna get. I couldn't care about most of these other ones. If you were to say what are your top 5 rares, desired rares? I would say it's probably Arthur, Kay, Anguish, Sarah, and Turin. Like those are the 5 I would probably pick out of everybody. I do so far enjoy Gareth. Kind of cool. A little bit underwhelming, but kind of cool. And I like Clementine too. And I know Rosier is really strong. And I'm still kind of interested in Arduin. But like the top 5 that I would want would be Arthur, Kay, Anglish, Sarah, and Turin, I think. And I'm not even sure about Kay. Like maybe not even Kay. Maybe I'd switch Kay out for somebody else. I know everybody loves Kay, but I'm like, I might want another controller utility champ that does something cool. Or a tank. Like maybe I want Bodwin or Boars or something. It's the Wind Relic? Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I thought it was a Wind Relic. Yeah, I think each of the they've done a good job of giving you reasons to use every champion. K and K is my Geo. Yeah, I don't, she's strong. Everybody likes her. And I'm not saying she's bad. I tend to like my damage dealers with a little more personality, I guess. Like she buffs herself and then she hits hard. Like, oh, well, cool. You hit hard. It's like the recovery disruption is nice, but there aren't so many places where that's critical. That feels like a PvP thing. So anyway, all right, let's go keep grinding. I don't have to, we can talk while I'm grinding. So let's get into the oh, I didn't do my second clan raid. I should do my second clan raid. I've got an hour, but let's finish off this one. I'm just going to let this go. We just got to finish the boss off. I don't think it should be a problem. Hopefully it won't be a problem. I honestly don't. I probably could have done that without using my best champs, but you only get 2 a day, and I already fought my first one, so. We'll make sure the clan gets that down. I don't actually know how the rewards work here. I'll have to look into that a little bit more. So you want them to talk to you intelligently while she pounds your face. Got it. I have to say, I didn't like the K character in the game very much. Like in the story mode, I thought the voice acting for K was a little bit below the voice acting for some of the other heroes. In general, Arthur was a little bit underwhelming too. Like I thought the voice acting was fine, but like his personality was a little bit vanilla, and Kay's personality is a little bit too cliche. And so those characters, like, I didn't really love that dynamic. Whereas some of the other characters were kind of more fun. I mean, one of the ones who I really liked was, I don't even know if he's a character that you can collect now that I think about it. Let me look at the, I thought one of the most interesting characters in the storyline. Yeah, he's not actually collectible. He was one of the Irish kings. I forget which one. Anyway, doesn't matter. But yeah, so like I thought a lot of the other heroes kind of had cooler personalities, and that does affect it sometimes when you're kind of in an RPG. You want like the character kind of matters, I guess, is what I'm saying. So prioritize attacking bosses. Let's do 5 of these. I think we're gonna need more than 5. All right, so I need to quickly refill my drink, but I think I'm gonna go right up until server reset. I think I'm gonna go right up until server reset. I gotta check in with my wife, make sure she's okay with the baby right now. But I also gotta make sure I've got everything done in raid for the day. So I finished Doom Tower is done. Cursed City is done. I gotta make sure to put in my defenses for Siege. Clan boss keys. I got time on that. Oh, I've got to do Hydra tonight. Gotta make sure I do that. I gotta do Chimera this week too. I have some 3v3 arena I still have to do, so let me get those out of the way. And then I'm gonna go get a drink. I'll be right back. Just finish your raid chores too. Yeah, got 2 more 3v3 battles to do here. It's actually colder in this room than I realized. Turn up the heat. You know how, like, I don't know if this happens to you, but we live in a relative, it's not like super cold area, but we live in New England. And as the sun goes down, like the temperature outside drops significantly. So it was probably like high 40s today, a little bit rainy. Maybe like 50. No, it was probably below 50, but like 48 degrees. And like in the last 2 hours, it's dropped 10 degrees. And like my office is on the end of the house. It's got a lot of windows. It's kind of chilly. Can like literally feel the cold air hitting the back of my neck. It's like sitting on me like a cold air blanket right now. And I'm in a short sleeve shirt. I was like, earlier it wasn't bothering me, but right now it's got cold. Age Shadow Legend. All right, we got 35 votes on the poll. 54% of you are already playing. I am curious about this. I'm going to put up a new poll. I want to put up a new poll. I'm not going to tell you what the poll is yet. Just give me a minute. Hey, Sauce. Good to see you. Yeah, so I just put up a poll, and basically this is a simple question. I'm just curious. I mean, there aren't a ton of us here right now, but I know the majority of you are either playing it already. If you've already started playing King Arthur, or if you're considering starting to play King Arthur, why? Like, not why would you play it necessarily, but like what made you start to think this could be a game that you wanted to play? Did you just find it on your own? Maybe they advertised it, or you were just following it, or you heard about it somewhere randomly and you just found it on your own. Maybe you had a friend specifically that you play these kinds of games with who's like, oh, I'm going to try out King Arthur. Maybe you saw a video from a content creator that you watch. Could be me, could be somebody else. Or maybe like your clanmates started talking about it, or the Reddit community or Facebook community or something started talking about it and you found it there. So just let me know, because I'm curious about how effective these advertising campaigns are. Okay, so we got 12 there. I think we still need like 5 or 6 more, maybe 7 more. Let's see. Oh, she doesn't have a dot yet, so we're not there yet. But what am I trying to do? I'm trying to advance her. 3. I only need 3 more. Nice. And then I do need one of these. All right. But I still got tons of energy. Have I done my forbidden dungeon yet? I did not. So I'm just going to go here. Auto clear. Okay. I want to make sure that I do that every day. Is there anything else? A daily? Oh, I didn't do sealed temple. I got to do this. I'm still on stage 1. I have not found how to do this yet. I haven't really put any time or energy into it. I've just been clearing stage 1, but stage 2 would probably be better. Remove buff, protection. Ooh, these are all champions I don't really utilize. All right, so I do have Ina, so maybe I'll invest in her. Obviously, it's like, here is Guinevere. I would like her. Here is Gillian. I would like her. Here is Sarah. I would like her. All these champions that I want. Although I do think Arduin is pretty cool. Let's just go ahead and do 5 of these. Hey, Steve. Good to see you. You blame me for this, Civic? Yeah. You started with Stu Gaming. So I know Jay Giggs and Stu are both playing. And those are... Stu is a former Raid content creator. Jay Giggs is a current Raid content creator. And I used to watch Stu videos back in the day. Not for a long time. Because he left the community within a few months after I started watching videos. So I don't know exactly when he left, but I would say, he was only around for maybe like 3 months after I started watching videos. Maybe a little bit longer. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's like 6 months, but not very long. And when he went and started doing other games, I would occasionally, because I don't know if I had subscribed to him or it was just being suggested to me. I don't think I subscribed to him. I would just go and occasionally watch a video on, whatever game he was doing. And none of them really grabbed me. And he seemed to be bouncing around between games. So maybe this is a game that he's landed on. And I could be wrong because I haven't followed Stu that much. But every once in a while, he posts a comment on my videos, which is I find interesting. Like, I don't know. I wonder if he still plays Raid. Even though he's not a content creator, I wonder if one of the reasons why he watches videos is because he still plays, and he, like I do, he just is doing his research for his account, And so I think he watches my channel sometimes. He's over 100,000 subscribers at this point, which is great for him. I mean, I think when he left Raid, he was only at like 20. So he has picked up subscribers over the years since leaving Raid. But I wonder if this is now his big game. I actually don't know. So if you have watched Stu Gaming, like, is this his primary focus right now, or is he doing other games as well? And as far as Jay Giggs is concerned, Jay's a great content creator. He did a DJ RNG video just this week. You got to watch it. It's phenomenal. He's so talented. He's a really talented guy. He's also a really sweet guy. He's a really nice guy. But it feels like his King Arthur channel is growing 3 times as fast as his Raid channel right. And, so he might be kind of maxed out on his Raid. Not maxed out, but like maxed out in terms of that big growth period. Now it's just going to be picking up, new players every little bit. But his King Arthur channel, like the first time I watched his King Arthur channel, it was at 9,000 subs. The second time I watched his King Arthur channel, it's at like 10,300 subs or something. Like, he picked up 1,300 subs in like a week. Absolutely crazy. He's playing other Netmark. Okay. All right, so I got some of this. So those are done. I still need a couple of these. I haven't tried this in a while. I haven't tried 9 in a while, but for right now, I'm just going to stick with this. Let's do this twice. So 65% of you picked it up by watching a content creator play. Okay. He was playing Final Fantasy. Gotcha. "28% of you found it on your own, and 6% of you found it from the raid community." That's interesting. I guess if your point of contact into the raid community is the content creators that you watch, because that's what it was for me, and I would say it probably still is. Like, other than my community is you guys. You know, like we have the most contact. But I would say, like, I hear about things through the other content creators much more frequently than any other source of information. Um, you know, sometimes I hear about things from players in my clan or something like that, or somebody I'm doing talking to in a live stream like this or something like that. But so if your primary point of contact is the content creators, then it would make sense that, like, these ad campaigns could be very effective. Congrats, Dixar. Nice, man. Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying the heck out of this game. I'm glad I decided to live stream this today. I wasn't going to. Um, I was debating. Like, I wanted to do a live stream on the weekend, but it didn't happen. And so then I was like, well, now it's Tuesday and I should do a takeover Tuesday. I was like, I really want to play King Arthur. Like, I just want to play King Arthur and talk to people about it, because I haven't had that opportunity yet. Like, I've just a little bit in the comments of my videos talked about King Arthur a little bit, but it's just fun to, you know, when you're into a new game, that's the game you want to play. I like Raid is fine. I still like Raid. I still enjoy the heck out of Raid. I just got, you know, a whole bunch of great champions in Raid recently, and I've been building them out and I've been pushing all sorts of stuff. I've, like, improved my personal best in like 8 different dungeons, or, you know, fights or whatever. And so, like, there's still plenty going on there, but, like, this is the game that I'm actually excited about right now. This is the game that I want to talk about. Oh, somebody asked me about my Tristan build. I'm sorry, I never got around to that. The chivalry one on Morgan helped a ton. Yeah, I'm sure that would. Clementine is good. Clementine is good. I just think Turin. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I just think Turin synergizes so well with Morgan. That was really, like, because I think I got Turin first, and then I got, like, Isolde. Like, before I even played with Turin, I think I did a 10 pull after getting Turin, and I got Isolde or something like that. And I was like, which one do I want? And it just felt to me like the synergy with Morgan was really good. And I was like, I'm definitely using Morgan. So I just kind of leaned into it. And I haven't regretted it. I have not regretted it. All right. So now we can go ahead and. How is she not? Oh, because I still need one of these. All right. Let's see what it takes to 3-star this. Use 2 or more control heroes. Well, I have 1 control hero there. So let's, I guess, throw in. Let's get Turn out of here and see if we can just put in another control hero. Who's my second best controller? Either her or him. They're basically the same, but he'll get XP out of it. So I'll run him. Actually, I have a different. Let's do. should not be a problem. Ooh, look at that. That was decent damage. I didn't get what I needed though. I didn't get the drop. I didn't get the drop that I doesn't take long to beat this level, does it? Not when you're this far advanced past it. There we go. All right, now we got our resource. Now we can go back to leveling all of our champions simultaneously, which is nice. So let's go ahead and do this. 130,000 silver. Ouch. A little bit of extra power there. I like that defense and HP. We definitely need that. All right, let's go level her up a little bit. Because everybody's level past her. 126,000. Holy cow. Okay, that feels good. Where's everybody else? 52, 50, 55, 52, 53. Okay. So 52, 53, 52. She's still the lowest by, out of my starting 4, it's my lowest by almost 1,000. I still need to awaken her 3rd spot, that's why. Once I get that magic orb in there, that'll probably get me another 300 power. Plus, what's the other thing? Oh, I was thinking about her relic. Plus her relic. I don't think it adds the power of the relics. I think it swaps based on the relic. So she's just always lagged behind in power a little bit. I don't know if I'm like, if she just has less power or if I'm misreading something, not figuring out the power system. Yeah, Darn, I get that. By the way, we do have a siege. I think you're in my clan, and you've been inactive for a bit. So, if you want to make sure you get your siege stuff set up, that would be cool. But yeah, every game has its lifespan, and I'll be honest, Raid has exceeded its lifespan with me. I wanted to start content creation a year before I did. And I think if I had, it would have felt like a more natural cycle in terms of like my interest in the game along with the content creation. The content creation has, and the community that we've built, and just the community in general of other content creators really keeps me around in Raid. The game is good. But the game is no longer new and exciting, and it's nice to have a second game to play. I don't think I'm leaving Raid anytime soon. But I am thinking that I'm going to start doing content on other games. I'm hoping to play Godforge. I'd like to get into the beta in that, and that may happen in just a few months. I don't know if I can play Raid and Godforge and King Arthur all at the same time and still put out content on 1 or 2 or 3 of those games. So I'm going to have to figure that out. Also, my wife's going back to work. She's going back to work in the new year. So I'm going to have a lot more childcare duties at home because I work from home. And we're not putting him into daycare at the moment. We're going to see if we can do that. We don't want to put him into daycare right away. So, we'll have to see if that works out for us. Who knows? All right, so what's the next thing to do now? What's the next thing to do? I think the next thing to do is maybe go to story and see if we can push story. Yeah, darn, that's not a problem. I understand. It happens to all of us. I could push some of this, get some of these. That would be useful. Yeah, let's do that. Win in 20 turns, but these can be done independently. So I don't think I can do 20 turns with 2 support heroes, but I can probably do 20 turns with 2 not support heroes, right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I have enough damage. Yeah, all right. If we want to do 20 turns, well, let's just try our best team. Let's just try our best team and see what happens. This might be one of those fights where all you have to do is kill the boss and the ads don't matter. In which case, I could probably have done it with 2 supports at the same time. The power spikes I've been getting recently are significant. Because it's like 2 days ago, this was a hard level to clear for. I could have done this. I could have done that with 2 supports. All right, that's just good. All right, so now I got to use 2 supports. I think what I'll do. Oh, there are gems. I need more gems. I think let's just pull more gum. No, let's pull Tristan. We'll bring in his old. He would ally attack with her, but I don't think it matters. We've got enough AoE. I hate when that happens. That makes me so angry. When you click, and it's like you've chosen the skill, and then you click and it doesn't go, and then you click again, and it's like now turned off the skill. That's just irritating. No! No! That marble! No! Maintenance ends in 3.5 hours. I'm glad I finished everything before, because that's a half an hour before server reset. This went on maintenance. That was, yeah. I'm glad I finished everything, because I would have been really ticked if I didn't do my gem thing first. Okay. Well, now we're in raid. Now we're in raid. But that's okay. My wife wants help with me getting the boy to sleep tonight. I usually do pretty much, she does the first half and I do the second half. She gets him set up and into a good place, and then, you know, then the cleanup batter comes in and sets it down. It's so funny because she'll work for like 45 minutes to get him ready for bed, or like an hour to get him ready for bed. And then I go in there and I'm like, hey, buddy. And then he sees me and he goes like this. and I just grab him, and then he goes, he just falls asleep on my shoulder. He loves falling asleep on my shoulder. It feels so good, but it's also so funny because it's like she will literally work. She'll be like, "I need you to come get him to go down." Like, all right, and then like 5 minutes later, he's down. Sometimes it used to take me like 45 minutes to. I'd have to walk him and sing to him and bounce him and rock him and do all these things, but he's become a better sleeper recently. So for like the last, I would say, week or so, he just he sees me and he's like, "Oh, it must be bedtime." And I sing him like a song for like 5 minutes and he's just asleep. Wow. Sorry about that. You're having a boy. Congrats. Joshua Lynch, that is fantastic. That's really fantastic. Is a siege currently on? Yeah, currently on. Okay. Yeah, congratulations. That's awesome. Now, the thing is, if you had found out you were having a girl, we'd be saying the same thing, right? We'd be like, congratulations, that's awesome. Yeah, 3.5 hours there. It was funny. I'll just tell this story because it was just a thing that happened. Not an incredibly like. Let me just check this. Sure. Okay. What do we need to do here? We have the Sand Devil. This is what I was working on today. I was trying to find a team for Sand Devil that was faster than this duo. And I did. But I think it wasn't full auto. I think I had to manual it. And I forget exactly. Let me just show you. So I think this. I honestly, I don't really remember. I don't really remember. I was messing around with it. I was manual in a lot of fights. So I think I transform first. And then I do the stun. Because I don't want to put him to sleep. And then I use the Cardiel to put my revive on. Although with Pytheon here, I could have just revived with Pytheon. But then I do the heal here so I don't waste a hit. Then I use the weaken. And then that. And we use this. I would love to get Odin and Newt reversed here. But so far not possible. 2 hits. We got the extra hit there. Now we put him to sleep. Can't put him to sleep. Now we do the big hit. Right? And now, yeah. So Odin still had his block damage up, which was nice. So I'm really worried about turns. I don't care so much about time, right? I'm just trying to see if I could do it in the AI, and I don't think it quite worked out the way I wanted it to in the AI. And now he's going to sleep, but he's going to sleep with too much HP bar, or too much turn meter bar. And that was the problem. So I think there was the question was, do I run Cardiel in the speed lead or do I run somebody else in the lead? And the good news is I don't need to use the revive on death more than once. I don't think anybody else died. That was a better one. And now he can get the decreased defense. Damn it. But we didn't get around to Newt. And I didn't get the weaken up. So we'll have decreased defense this time. 34. And I think we can do it in 35. No, 36. So 36 turns is pretty good. Because I think my Newt duo does it in between like 43 and like 60. So I usually get, instead of 44 points, I get 40 to 42. But it's like, it's not worth it enough. The best I've done here is gotten 45 points. So darn, that's great. Okay, I didn't tell you a story. You wanted a girl, but we have come to terms. Yeah, so let me just put this in. All right, so I'm going to tell you my story about this. So I've always wanted kids. I'm a bit older. I'm an old dad, right? I'm going to be 50 in a couple of months. And I kind of gave up on having kids. Like I wasn't partnered. I was 42 or 43 or whatever, and like most of the women I was dating, like in around that time period, were all, you know, my age, late 30s to mid 40s. They all had kids already. They were divorced, and you know, their kids were like in middle school and stuff. So I just thought that's how I would become a dad. You know, I would meet somebody and get married to somebody who had kids and whatever. And then I met my wife, who was younger than I am, and she wanted to have kids. So we're like, all right, let's do this. I had to like turn the kid switch back on, right? Be like, okay, I've always wanted kids. I want to have a kid, but I always suspected that I would have daughters. I always thought I would have a daughter. I don't know why. That's just like been in my brain. I don't like girls more than boys or boys more than girls. It's like I like kids. I just like kids. So, but I just in my head I was like, I'm probably gonna have girls. My wife wanted a girl, um, like not so much because she doesn't like boys, also, but because she feels like she doesn't know how to deal with boys as much because she's done a bunch of nannying, but like she's done more nannying for girls. So it wasn't that she was like hard focused on having girls or anything, but she was just like, I think it'd be like, you know, more. And so we both thought that. So we were just kind of saying that. And then as she got pregnant and started, you know, progressing, she's just like, yeah, I think it's a girl. And I was like, I think it's a girl. We talked to like her mother thought it was my mother thought it was a girl. Like her father thought it was. Everybody was like, yeah, we're all thinking you're having a girl. Like I don't know why. I don't know why people think they know. Like I don't know why we thought we knew. Nobody knows. You don't know, you know. But everybody thought we were having a girl. We had our scan, and it was a boy, which was a shock to the system. And my wife cried, and like we were very sad. Not because we were having a boy, but afterwards I realized something. I think that no matter what, when you have your scan and you find out the, you know, the sex of your baby, that half of the possibilities go away. Right? Like before you find out, you have all of these daydreams, your fantasies are like, well, if it's a boy, I can do this with him and I can do that with him and he's going to be like this and we're, you know, it's going to be so much fun. And if it's a girl, oh, she's going to be like this and like that. Maybe she'll take after my grandmother, but you know, whatever. And it's like, so you have this whole fantasy life of what life would be like if you had a daughter, and you have this whole fantasy life about what the life would be if you had a son. But you can only in one baby, you can only have one or the other, you know? So as soon as you find out which one it is, the other half dies. Like all those dreams die. They go away because now you're not doing that. Like if you imagined what it would be like to walk your daughter down the aisle, like as a father, you know, like that's one of those things you might fantasize about. Like someday I'll get to dance with her at her wedding, you know? And it's like, well, I'm having a son, so I don't get to do that now. You know, it's like he might dance with his mom, but it's like, and that's a sweet thing for her. But like, I don't get to walk my daughter down the aisle because I didn't have a daughter. And, but there are things I'm excited about to be a boy dad. You know what I mean? Like to have a son, there are so many things to be excited about. So it's like, you're sad for like a day or two because those dreams died. And then you're just happy. You're just happy you're having a baby and that they're healthy, whatever, and it's like, yeah, it's like half the time you're going to be right and half the time you're going to be wrong. Now, if you have multiple kids, maybe you can have one of each if you want, if that's something that you want to do. We don't know if we're going to have more kids. So he might be our only, and that would be totally fine. But I think part of both of us will feel like, if that's true, if we only have one, that it would be, I don't know, sad's not the right word, but there will be like a little part of us that would have felt like, oh, it would have also been nice to have a daughter. And if we have another one, we could have two boys. Now, I'm one of two boys. All of my cousins are boys. Like, there were so few girls in our family, in our generation. And then in my son's generation, which they're all older than he is, but in my son's generation, it's like, it's a pretty even split. There are a lot of girls and there are a lot of boys. So, so it's, yeah, more evenly distributed. But I'm so happy for you with Joshua Lynch. That's great. I'm glad everybody's healthy. That's really the most important. Two boys and then a girl. There you go. Just wait 16 years. You might get your girl anyway. I don't know what that's exactly meaning. Like, in 16 years, I'll be 55. I'm not 55, 65. I'll be 65. Sorry. I'm not 39, 49. Or are you saying my son's going to have a daughter? Is that what you're saying? he's going to be a young parent. Oh, that too. Yeah, that's true. That can happen. Yeah, I mean, you can't pick the life of your children, right? Like, you can't pick your children. you just you get it. Here's your baby, and that's your baby for the rest of your life. That's the thing about being a parent, right? Like, you don't get to opt out. Once you opt in, it is a lifetime contract, no matter what happens. And I'm like, that's something that excites me. Like, I enjoy that. I love that. That's great. And like, I know there's going to be there are going to be so many hard things. There have already been hard things, but there are going to be so many more hard things. And I'm just excited. I think one of the things about being an old dad is that that's my perspective on it. I'm just excited that I get the chance to do it because I honestly didn't think I was going to. I'm like, yeah, I'm down for all of it. Like, I want the whole thing. So, girl, boy, girl, boy. Wow. that's interesting, Carla. Yeah. Girl, boy, girl, boy. So your baby is a boy, but everyone was a baby on the way down. Of course, like, your first girl was your first baby. And then you had another one, your baby boy. And then you had a baby girl and then a baby. But now, if you're not having any more, now the baby is a boy. And the oldest is a girl, which I like that combo. I like older girls, younger boys. Like, I said all my cousins are boys, but I have one female cousin in my generation, and she was the older sibling. And she and her brother are very close. And I think one of the reasons is because she was the older sibling, and it just kind of worked out that way. Whereas, an older boy, younger girl. Like, actually, I'd say I have friends who are that, and they're very close too. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Joshua Lynch, you're gonna be a father. You have to stop thinking like that. You can't say those things anymore. You're gonna be a dad. No, if I had to pick, if I was gonna do one of each, and I could just pick, I would probably go older girl, younger boy. Probably. But I don't know. I was the younger of two. Younger siblings have it a little bit rough, and I think maybe it's a little bit easier if the younger one's a boy. But I don't know. Darn, that is a big change. That's an absolutely huge change. Um, yeah, I think, one of the things is how are they going to, like, what's their childhood going to be like? But then the other thing is, what's their adult relationship going to be like? And I think, at least sometimes in my experience, and maybe it's because, girls like in their teen years mature faster than boys, but it feels to me like, um, I don't know, maybe that's more fun or something. I don't know what it is, but kind of depends on where you are and what your family dynamic is like too, I guess. Are the cousins in his generation, the oldest cousins are girls. So there's four groups of cousins. Like my brother and three of my cousins had kids. On our side of the family. On my wife's side of the family, it's different because those kids are younger. But on my side of the family, the oldest was a girl. The second oldest was a girl. The third oldest was a girl. And then came my nephew. And then came two boy cousins. And then a girl and a boy. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, yeah, so it's pretty evenly distributed, right? The three oldest girls and then a younger girl. And then the three boys in the middle, and then my son all the way down at the bottom. But so 4 and 4. 8 on Thursday. Well, congratulations. I think that is the most important thing, Darn, which is like I said, you opt in, and once you're in, it's a lifetime commitment, and you don't get to choose much beyond that. But you do get to respond to you do get to choose how you respond to the circumstances you're given. And some people find parenting a burden. Some people find it a burden, but a burden they love. Some people find it just a constant joy, um, my hope is for any parent and for any child, really, that role of being a parent is one that is fulfilling and meaningful, and like I'm so excited to be a dad. I'm so excited to be a dad. There are times in my life where maybe I would have been less excited. I've always wanted to be a dad, so I don't think there would have been, even if I had been a dad at like 20 years old, let's say, I probably would have been pretty excited about it. I would have been much more scared back then. I would have been scared and excited. Now I had very little fear about this. Um, like my wife and I are like, no. I mean, she's she's a mom. She's a little bit anxious, but in general, she didn't have a ton of fear either. Um, it felt very, very much a deliberate decision, and it made sense for us where we were in our relationship and our lives and stuff like that. And And that's the best scenario. But if it comes to you unexpectedly, you know, there's also that. And then, you know, the hope is that it becomes that great thing for you. And I will say this, as a, you know, as a man who always wanted to be a father, when I finally became a father, I was surprised at my reaction to my son, right? Because sometimes you hear like, oh, you know, you're just going to fall instantly in love with your kid. And I did not. I did not instantly fall in love with my kid. My first reaction was not like there was love there, but most of the love was directed at my wife because she had gone through this amazing thing. My feelings towards my son were extremely protective. He was very precious, but love to me wasn't the first emotion. It wasn't like the thing. And you know, people would say like, "Don't you just love him?" And I'm like, "I guess so. Like I must." You know, because I'm so focused on his well-being. But honestly, it wasn't like this wave of love that like my wife had. My wife was like madly in love with him the instant he arrived. I would say it took me about 6 weeks to get to the point where I was like, "Oh." And a big turning point for me was when he opened his eyes like and started staring at me, like looking at me and seeing, you know, because when for the first month he's got his eyes closed 20 hours a day. You know, he barely opens his eyes for a few minutes. But eventually he started looking at me and tracking me and, you know, like making noises at me, and I would have moments with him. And that's where I think I was like, "Oh yeah, this kid is awesome." And now, like, he's literally my favorite thing. He walks into the room, he doesn't walk in the room. My wife carries him into the room and he starts laughing and I start laughing and we just laugh at each other, you know, and now I'm gonna go get to put him in the bed. So that is the end of my live stream. It's an interesting one today. Thanks for hanging out for something different. I will still be doing takeovers, so if you are looking for a takeover here in Raid, let me know. I do provide paid takeovers as well. So if you're interested in a paid takeover, you can DM me. In fact, there's somebody out there who I'm supposed to do one with, and I got so distracted. So I don't know if that's you. Contact me again, DM me again. But yeah, I'd like to get a couple in before the holidays. So if you want some pricing and scheduling information, just shoot me a DM in Discord. And otherwise, thanks for hanging out. I guess I will see you guys soon. Have a good one. And congratulations, Joshua Lynch. See you guys later.